mbokki Gambia ñu ngi leen nuyu nuyób jàmm nuyób yërmande nuyób barke yi nuyoo faxe ko fii ci AG radio ak seeni mbokka Saliou Njaay ñoo amati mbégte gu mag dellu suwaat fii di waxtaan ak yéen programme tey bi di Saturday special show bési tey bi daldi tolloog bésib samedi ñetti fan ci weerub mai atum 2025 comme nan ko gën a xamee rek ci kàllaama angale tey la Saturday 3rd of May 2025 sun gan gi tey du kenn kudut Honourable Suwaibou Touray mu ngi yëngu ci parti bi ñuy oyo doy moom mooy di National Assembly Member bu Wuli East waxtaani tey bi dinañ ko laaj lépp loo xam ne bugga nañ ko laaj booleeg panelist yi ñoom itam dinañ joxe seeni laajte waaye topic gi waxtaan bi mooy ndax opposition party si nekk si dëkk bi ndax ñu ngi waxtaan ndax Gambian yi dinañ gis opposition coalition bala 2026 election se waxtaan bi nag tey mbépp ku bugga laaka angale mu ngay laaka angale ku bugga laaka olof mu ngay laaka olof ku bugga laaka mandinka mu ngay laaka mandinka bondok mbokk yi duma def ludut daldi ànd ak yéen rek ñu daldi dem jëli Honourable Suwaibou Touray Honourable Suwaibou maa ngi lay nuyu di la santa di la gërëm di la jox sa wàccuwaay ba mat sëkk di la dalal te di la yaatal fii ci AG radio ma daldi la mee rek nga jël benn 1 minute nuyu wante sun déglukat yi bala ñuy tàmbali laajte yi feel free in English in Mandinka any language boobu ga rek jërëjëf Honourable.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Honourable Suwaibou Touray, as you said. I am sitting member of the National Assembly representing Wuli East. And I am greeting everybody, and I'm very grateful that I am participating in this forum. Thank you.
Wow. Jërëjëf Honourable xam naa ne connection bi taxu ko clear bu baax line baa ngi xala po tuuti rek waaye ñu manage ñu try mu ngoog Honourable ma bugga laa laaj rek ñi la xam bari neen ñi dégg Honourable Suwaibou Touray bari na waaye si ñi la xamut ana kan mooy Honourable Suwaibou Touray.
Honourable Suwaibou Touray Wuli Boba Atadas Dugoba la primary school Abulada St. George's in Basse, St. George's Junior Secondary School. Then I was to bang at Canada World Youth Program for 1 year. Then I did not continue high school Canada for 2 years. Senior secondary school ke Bono, Organized British Columbia, then Vancouver. The boy kana Murnan Gambia teaching here. Then the college after an exam. I 2 years PJ. Then I got the action aid. I teaching PJ for 2 years. Then I'm moving. I teaching Pisco the Gambia, teaching Mandinka instructor and cultural instructor for another 2 years. And then left there and joined the PDOIS in 1986. So from 1986 to now, Honourable Touray is working on a great project as well as serving as an editor at the foreign newspaper from that time to 2016. But during the period also, I worked for the Bloomberg newspaper, which is based in New York, belonging to Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York then. And then they also have a headquarters in Johannesburg in South Africa. But I quitted that job in 2016 and participated in the election, 2017 election, and then won that election for Wuli East. And since that time to now, almost 8 years, serving as the sitting MP for Wuli East. That's Honourable Touray.
jërëjëf Honourable Touray mu nga Honourable Touray li nga wax ni di ko mën a repeat rek si olof tuuti rek.
wolof tuuti mais no problème bi Honourable Touray dafa juddu Wuli Setu Koba dem na school passé St. George's from there dem na Canada World Youth, and then dafa am ñaari fan si Bonal Senior Secondary School. Then from there joined the Gambia College and teaching field, then work for Action Aid. Then after that joined a Peace Corps tamit. After Peace Corps joined a political party called PDOIS. Up to léegi ma ngi liggéey ak Doy ak Foroya si Borif noonu wax naa ak Bloomberg tamit Bloomberg newspaper mu ngi am headquarters New York, and then 2017 taw na pour elections, National Assembly elections, win na election bi léegi time boobu ba léegi 8 years ma ngi MP pour Wuli East di National Assembly. Very bad, huh?
jërëjëf Honourable Suwaibou. Honourable fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw rek si laajte yi li ma lay laaj mooy ndax yéen Doy pare ngeen pour dem into coalition su fekkee ne tamit bugguloo wax si laame ne Doy mun ngaa wax from your own personal point of view ndax foog nga ne coalition dina am ndax yéen a ngeen liggéey pour suran pour coalition am.
Okay, welcome back Pascal Radio. Importante back Militaro. Even for party on position de gouvernement. Bari me alon ko ko me alon ko parke. Da tu ya fu ngani governance on da ko parti clear so membe masukunda bondi la min bankunka. Ate feyala ma ba te kele ma ba te keno le bara te feyala. Da ko ko 1965 dana 2024 the election min degeta pati climat soto ne président boy di banko opposition pati climat soto ne opposition boy di banko vraiment ce qu'on a boy di banko so kambala aussi ni miro que no mo la gaje ko ni entre electoral system mo be kering wala be continuer kan comme avec nyame bi amam fali auto ni lefte man ce qu'on a fallu l'état la coalition comme coalition municipale kada 2016 wala coalition sifa do fana sikeno ni alon ko nando ko simma ko na man ce qu'on a boy no mo loi ti sai loi e même pour wala mo ni me dan ka tek split o mari chambi anche president to ni pati mo loda president Borofe wala pati tan ni lulu loda president Borofe wala pati tan loda te wala han pati lulu fam ibajele ko president Borofe me alon ko akela mo incumbent akela be stiran ko police ba ba ko to jaron ba ko bangola na fulo ba ko bangola do ko bundal de ba ko o ko la fana ate president kilo sina ko ke as alkalo bayno la place as sefo bayno la place as governo bayno la place as permanent secretary bayno la place as director ni manager bayno la place ani minister ibajele ko sembo member incumbent member opposition clear soto wenda boy la category clean as sona amana ko nam as sona ya wala ken bi ko 1965 wala bla fo bila del men la ko mi do opposition ko no da ko min kila no wala mun second round of voting so the government absolute majority please we can go fight the first time no man 50+1 soto o mo ma 50 so ka fella kan na ka to play the second round membe nato ani min ba no o kan de jol ko wal fulo dam man silo banko be ka to fay wolle ba jël ko ñoke da ko mo kili so do mi ya lon ko abe biddi so ko ay bella ba jël ñoke do sa bo ko ko la bo so e ga min majority absolute majority so do den amari si banko mo rew e ko petit jamano da fi ka to tala ani president e tati pesan leso e ba jël ko ni ay ci ma dan kili na na ina do ada mang ada dan da fitilla ada da banko tala ada o so na da president le bulu men de siri dina men ba opposta to wala ken da ajare da ba ke pour na coalition so now coalition si va min da so la clean la constitution 2024 we are going to look up nyanta absolute majority principle so la ayo di constitution kono la constitution kono ni atari o motambi da bagere banko le loi bagere ko katifa flanja bina pour flanja bina banko ni pour flanja na wala ka opposition tan ma ko français coalition de da ça doit manquer son gabambalo do ni son ko siata ag to kala ki go ko la fana ag ni o sabana na don ta o ka ko ya ba ni o so do opposition li ni men to mi de ko don ko mali bambo ko ma la fasa o sona da bakere so bagele ko ko ñoya ki ndi ñalan ko ni atari ni la constitution tambita ata sono ara mu ba kale kuna ari do ke ni atari ban ko mo le ko pay ba ni ko aba ko la ko la ko ni do ko ke ki so ni anu aba president ko de categories kilina o wata sono la na ni mo so la constitution man tambi wato president na funga ni ko ndi ko ke na no ko na ku bu ni na também que me alon ko abi banko fasa de banko la punya la julia ak progressive agreement me alon ko banko la interest ndebe no wala ko mo kane pam ko julia ni kala mo la interest julia tawi de banko la punya la julia ani ni banko mo le tamini ban si banko na ko ma de ya fasa na banko ko ni na ma bunda ko julia ani kan de kaito mi na sabi numara ni mo penda sani me alon ko si kudu je me alon ko si kambing ikan me na binding agreement o si dum noje alo last time mi ngina gentleman agreement me alon ko amam binding this time sa ka na kudu je dum ba ko ak binding agreement ni me mo ko mo tam bi ka represent ama agreement o normal o to mal me ba no mal denyo de bala normal o ko la ina ke isi sile ko so no me bi asani kaji ko na kambe me ke na ko ni ABC ni mo ko mo fana ni sama kido ko fana son da wala o sinan sa sama no kido ko kaji ko na ko min dalo kambe ko ye baga so min dalo kambe ko din ko ni ta mo min bi bula kambe ko ka ko ban ko kan da bu ban ko kan bu so min ni la no ye so bu so la no ji ko ni ba ni agreement so da kambe ni fana be yang no so na kambe ni to ba ni ka sa ni ni pasa men tambi da ate ni ko ko na la ko mo ko da la fa so ko ni ba woni ni ko o kambe si ba o mo na ko le na banko mo gela mi romo
jërëjëf Honourable Suwaibou si tontu yu am solo yooyu leen bu yàggul Honourable Touray Mr Mamadi Kurang dafa génn di wax ne doy de need a new leadership maanaam liñ soxla si jamono yi mooy njiit bu ees ba mu ngi doon tudda sa tur ne ku mel ni yow mun ngaa yóbbu parti doy bi waaye nag mu am ñu ko gisee ne li Mamadi wax day Gambien yu baree ko xalaat waaye mënoon na ko waxee si suuf yóbbu ko si parti bi dal di ko waxtaanee foofa loolu mooy li doon gën a rafet mu ñëw on national TV wala ñëw si radio di wax loola dese naa rafet si borom ma xam ku mel ni Halifa Sallah xaaral mbokk yi ma try pour dugalaat Honourable Suwaibou Honourable ok xama try ñu ngi jégalu mbokk yi Gambia léeg-léeg connection bi daf dee po ba pare Honourable Suwaibou mu ngi ba sutu kooba xam nga connection yi ñoom léeg-léeg duñ correct Banjul sa waxatuma laak fudut Banjul ok mu ngoog su Honourable Suwaibou ñëwatee dinaa continuer waaye ma dal di ñëw rek si Mr Bakary Ba Mr Ba jot ngaa dégg li nga xam ne moom la fi Honourable Suwaibou Touray wax naka nga gisee lim wax ak lan nga bëgg a yokk si lim noonu wax.
Assalamualaikum Mr. Ndiaye di la nuyu di nuyu ko panélistes yi yëpp di nuyu tamit suñ gan bu buñ am fii nii di Honourable Suwaibou Touray ak suma comrade tamit Mr. Sissawo ñu bokk si PDOIS parti bi waxtaan bi nekk na waxtaan bu am solo trop déglu na Mr. Suwaibou Touray si force interaction am bu mu doon wax si soose lu mu doon firndeel rek mooy ne depuis bu Gambie amee independence 1965 ba buñ amee coalition 2016 ñun ñëpp gis nañ ne saani karta benn parti daanelu fa ku toog mooy opposition musuta win election indi Gambia ba buñ ñëwee ñun ñëpp ñu nekk benn formidable coalition in 2016 so mun doon firndeel tamit yu bari yi nga xam ne tamit mu ngi si suñ loi bi right now comme force to the post comme léegi nii lu constitution Gambie bi amee mooy ku rawee benn carte sax te win nga election umpu ñu ne tamit am na draft constitution buñ doon liggéeyal depuis 2020 loolu ñoo toonaat léegi ñu toon ko mu nekk si draft constitution 2024 si draft 2024 bi nag am na ay fànn yi nga xam ne ña suñ broda suñ koto bu baax broda Mr. Ndaw dinañu si gën a firndeel lu bari waaye foofu am na lu mu fa yokka mooy ne ña su nekkee dañ doon dem coalition loolu dina dimbale lu ñoo oowee second round voting parce que dangaa gis ne parti pour mu mun a win pour mu jaar mu am lu ñoo oowee absolute majority bi mooy nga am 50+ % of the vote so loolu yëpp nekk na li nga xam ne tamit Gambia dañ ko soxla parce que ñun ñëpp umpuñ ñu ne right now président bu toog muy Barrow muy Jammeh muy Tami Jawara daf dee difficult pour nga dem ak ñooñu élection lu tax muy difficult parce que ñun luñ dee oowee incumbent soldaari réew mi seen loxo la day nekk police yi njiitiri dëkk yi chief yi ak everything ñu am président yoo xam ne tam ñoom ñooy mun a fal di fooli alkaalo ak ay chief so loolu daf dee jox luñ dee oowee incumbent bi advantage so pour bugguma waxtaan bi si suman ma gën a yaagare waaye lii lu firndeel mooy
go ahead Bakary yaa ngi wax lu important Mr. Ba go ahead
jërëjëf so suñ buggee am li nga xam ne tam beneen soppeeku lañ bugga parce que am nañ soppeeku boo xam ne 2016 mooy lu ñoo oowee regime change waaye gis nañ ne fànn yu bari ñu waroon a change depuis 2016 bente yooyu moo fa nekk dafa mel nii rek luñ dee oowee si English is a new all while instilling a new bottle so da ngaa gis ne security sector reforms yu ñu doon pour am loolu amut public sector reforms yu ñu doon pour am amut electoral reforms yu ñu doon pour am tamit yooyu tam amut so right now nii tembe bi nii ñun suñu waree demaat election 2026 ak président Barrow ak NPP party mbek alliance they have a significant advantage now comme li nga ko laajte nii tontu na si mu ne PDOIS si suñ position jëlaguñ or decidiguñ whether we're going into coalition or not waaye tamit yokka na si ne te foog naa ne Gambians yëpp lii daf ñu war a oor ne suñu waree demaat 2026 man si suma gis-gis ak ñu bari lu ñoo wax mooy benn parti rek du fi mun a génnee Barrow so lu xewoon 2016 I think it's needed again in fact it's more needed now than it was needed in 2016 because Barrow tam soo ko bàyyi xel parti yu ko wër yëpp ñooñ tam nekka nañ comme mini coalition am na NRP bi am na CA am na some fraction with the APRC so moom tamit mu ngi form on coalition am so pour ñu war a indi soppeeku bi nga xam ne moom lañ namoon depuis 2016 foog naa dañ nii daal beneen coalition te coalition buñ amoon 2016 tamit am na jàngat yu ñu si war a na jàngee parce que lu coalition bi taxaw na mu fas ak fu mu waroon a jublu ak liggéey ñu waroon a def wax dëgg yàlla amut so da ngaa gis ne loolu tam dafa indi suspicion si diggante opposition party bi même xam nañ ne dañoo need coalition bu ñoo repeat the same mistake bu amoon 2016 so léegi loolu dafa tax bi nga xam ne ban façon coalition la ñoo indi ba changement buñ need bu nekk just change of face waaye mu nekk changes boo xam ne loolu la réew mi soxla loolu mooy yóbbu réew mi di ko am si kanam si foog naa loolu waxtaan boobu su waxtu bi jotee parti yu bari nañ si waxtaane bu ñu fàtte ne tamit in 2016 lu ñoo waxee coalition 2016 waxtaan bi ak li ko indi yëpp pour mu sosu started sometimes in October so benn tey time am na for naa pour parti yi mun a toog waxtaanee ko waaye pour man si suma gis-gis for naa benn parti rek du mën a daaneel Adama Barrow mu fa toog gum right now léegi luñ doon wax si yëfi courant tamit man bokk naa si ñu ko ñaawlu tuuti soo gisee ma ñaawlu ko kenn waxul ne courant
pour suñu dëkkukat yi xamul courant yaa ngi miin Mamadi Kurang pour suñu dëkkukat
Mamadi Kurang ñu bari si ñun oncle Kurang lañ ko doyee parce que ñun xale li doy ku ñu mag tuuti rek ñu tëddee la oncle so oncle Kurang moom dafa amee woon movement am bu ñu oowee Youth for Change so in 2021 bu mu registré for naa for some reason mënuma fàttali ko lan la woon waaye IEC bi dañ ko disqualify woon so si la moom ak ku ñoo oowee Dr. Diagne for naa amoon ngeen fi Dr. Diagne sax last week or week before ñoom si la ñoo ok few days back waaw so ñoom si la ñoo nag fekk si doy bokkaa doy so dafa mel ni ñoom tam dañ amoon alliance si biir doy now bu mu fa jógee tamit ñoo na in 2022 mu taxaw ñaami na under the ticket of doy as an MP boobu tamit winu ko woon so dafa mel ni moom depuis bu mu bokkee 2021 ak doy bu mu ñëwee fekk si doy am na jàngat gu bari man si ma ko gisee waroon na koo def si parti gi waaye man si suma xalaat foog naa ne jàngat googu noonu desoon na tuuti gis nga soo bokkee si dara tamit foo jaar nga gëstu si li nga bokka nga xam si li nga bokka nga xam si li nga bokka tam si lan lañ taxaw ak si lan la ñoo yëngu parce que moom wax yi moo wax yi fi leadership nii si parti gi dafa am fu parti PDOIS jógee dafa am fuñ toll dafa am si fuñ sukkandiku te dafa nekk parti boo xam ne dañ gëm lu ñoo oowee constitution lu ñoo doxaare dañ koo defal si constitution yi parti bi now mu ngi indi benn issue boo xam ne mu ngi amoon si suñ congress bi in 2021 te man muy wax ak yéen nii fii am a living witness to lu happen noonu parce que in 2021 ñun Europe branch bi I was part of the media team so ñun ñoo doon jokkalante luy happen si congress bi di ko génnee si biti so lu happen noonu si congress boobu noonu mooy ne pour nga nekka ñu elect la in a position you need to be a delegate naa dafa am ñaari ndaw yuñ fa tànnoon si place mooy kenn ki ku ñoo oowee Kemesen Sane Kex ak beneen sister suñ beneen jigéen bu baax mooy ku ñoo oowee Aminata Korea so Kex ñu tànnoon ko si place bu ñoo oowee youth rep fon na Aminata ñu oowee ñu jël ko si place boo xam ne mooy female rep waaye buñ defee congress bi dafa am ñu ekkiti woon seen loxo ne pig nañ ñooñu comme am na ku leen select wala ku leen nominate buñ leen nominaté nag ñu ñëw win place yooyu wala ñu jox leen place yooyu noonu si biir congress mu demee ba waaj a jeesi am ñu protest ne ñaar ñooñu nekkutoñ delegate because man oroon na ma ne xam naa si dara because Kex moo ñu doon jokkalante on the media aspect so Kex soo gisoon mu nekkoon si congress bi he was the media personality Aminata Fonasi was part of the organizing committee so they were not a delegate the si biir congress boobu noonu sax Halifa was not even the chair so bu am ñu protest ne
kan mooy woon the chair
I think the chair was either Sidia or kii Uncle Adama Ba waaye foog naa Uncle Suwaibou su ñëwee dinañu mun a fàttaliku loolu it was not even Halifa it was either Sidia or ku ñoo oowee Uncle Adama Ba Uncle Adama Ba moo taxawoon mayoral election for KMC moom tam mu nekk si kilifa yu bokk si parti gi so bu réero boobu amee nag ñu check constitution parti bi wane ne dëgg la pour nga am place si congress bi mooy di elective congress buñ am noonu da nga war a nekk ay delegate so si lañ oo
suñu déglukat yi nga xam ne xamun delegate naa nga mun a explainer delegate pour suñu déglukat yi
waaw delegate mooy comme xam nga suñ amee national congress elective congress comme tunda yu nekk si biir Gambie parti branch yi dañoo tànn ay ndawi parti pour ñu dem represent leen si general assembly bi so da ngaa gis ne xëy na CRR si région bi amoon nañ ay délégué su jógee CRR URR am na délégué su fa jógee pour represent parti bi from loolu so yooyu yëpp si village level bi ba si regional level bi lañ leen dee tànn so da ngaa gis ne Kex ak Aminata luñ fa nekkee woon they were not delegates particularly Kex moom daf doon cover the media aspect of the program so xam nga kooku mu ngi fa woon di def beneen liggéey parti waaye moom he wasn't qualified as a delegate so buñ demee na ba tànn ñoom ñaar ñooñu noonu te constitution yi doy bi lu mu wax si loolu dafa óor nañ ñu ne place yooyu noonu ñaar ñooñu wax dëgg yàlla kon lii la ko constitution bi wax fuñ jaar ñu delloo place yooyu noonu te ñooñu dañ waxtaan ñoom ñu nangu ñu delloo place yi léegi lu Mamadi Kurang di wax mooy buñ jëlee place yooyu noonu si ñooñu comme parti gi dañ waroon a jëlaat ñeneen indi leen pour ñu représenter leen te man foog naa foofu la Mamadi Kurang waroon a gën a gëstu lu constitution bi wax ak lanaay yelleef ak naka la ñoo tànnee ak génnee nit parce que moom lu mu doon accuse Halifa ne parti bi yëpp si turi Halifa la luy dox si parti bi yëpp si turi Halifa la su Halifa gëstu woon tey mu ne congrès bi tànn nañ Kex ak Aminata waaye méngoowut ak lu constitution doy wax su moom Halifa moomu noonu benn nit bi su toonoon jël place yu delloo ko ñooñu so élection bi ñun si boppam ñooy toog di accuser ne Halifa comme duñ koo wax tey so loolu moo tax Halifa couldn't have intervened because lu constitution doy bi wax ak lu waree fi congrès bi wax dafa setoon wicc te ñaari ñooñu at that time amuñoon problème naka la things demee so loolu nag la Kurang yu saat léegi ak xëy na am na yeneen internal issues yi nga xam ne rees na ko waaye pour man rek pour gàttal wax dafa am yoo xam ne luñ dee wax si olof waxtaani doomi ndey si biir néeg la yow soo bokkee si dara nga am ay kilifa si parti te nga am nga nekk ndaw boo xam ne danga am baat si biir réew mi yeneen ni daf dee baax nga rafetal soo amee lu la naxari dafa am ay sarta ak ay jéego yooyu jël pour nga waxtaane ko te soo ko waxtaanee noo ko war a waxtaanee rek nit yi dinañ la déglu njiit yooyu noonu tam dinañ la mun a xelal xëy na sax ba njuumtema au rectement du si am indi na ay yëngutu ne parti bi structure si yu bari demoon nu war a demee dafa baax tamit nit yi xam ne ak ñu gëstu ne tey Halifa fayuñ ko salary Sidia Jatta mu bokk si central committee ñoom Halifa kenn lañ fayut si salary from doy suñ staff yi nga xam ne ñoo amee admin secretary bi ak suñ office ak ñu fa def lu bari dañoo volontaire am nga nag kuy def dara ngir bugga parti bi ak ngir li yàlla dafa am yenn sarta yoo xam ne doo leen koo teg so loolu tamit bokk na pour nit yi xam ne am na yenn structure yoo xam ne dafa baax pour at least nit ki su moo def dara sax su ko regul sax nga ñëw nga jàppale ko si wala nga ne ko jërëjëf waaye foog naa nii ak nii lañ doon war a demee so am na position yu bari including ñaari position yi yooyu noonu mooy Kex ak Aminata ñun suñ Europe branch bu congress bi jeexee dañ binda lu ñoo oowee party resolution te party resolution si yoonu mooy comme ay sarta o fànn yi nga xam ne dañ koo binda nga xam ne comme su congress amaate congress dañoo gëstu loolu noonu ñu liggéey si loolu ay dañu pass a resolution on those o buñ pass resolutions on that PDOIS buñ ñu umpale dafa nekk parti boo xam ne yàgg naa susu waaye susu waayam yëpp mooy lu moo sukkalee Gambia parce que buñ fàtte ne bu PDOIS sosé Sidia moo nekkoon di presidential candidate ak di flag bearer for the 4 times so Sidia contest 3 times bu 3 times yooyu noonu jeexee buñ fàttale ko 2006 ona mooy 2006 dañ am coalition bu ñoo oowee UP or NAD ñu jógee fa ñu amaat beneen coalition bu ñoo oowee NAD ñu jógee fa ñu amaat beneen coalition mooy bu 2016 bii ni so dangaa gis ni ñetti coalition presidential election yëpp PDOIS taxawluñ parti dañ bokk si coalition parce que daf leen dem ba óor leen ne pour ñu mun fee génne incumbent bi we need to come together so PDOIS dafa sacrifice the party for the benefit of the Gambia now ñu bari ñu ngi foog ne parti bi Halifa la ak Sidia rek waaye Halifa si boppam the only time bu mu ever contest as a presidential candidate pour parti bi mooy 2021 president election bu passé ni ñu bari ñu ngee ne waaw dafa war a joxe wala yeneen parti dañ war a am time limit soo taxawee ñaari yoon da nga war a jox beneen ndaw waaye PDOIS comme si yëf yi su ñëwee si yëfi Halifa moom benn yoon rek la taxaw as a presidential candidate defoon naa loolu tam Gambien su bari baax na pour ñu xam loolu noonu because 2021 moom si la bu mu daanoo si la wax ne before mu daanu sax dafa wax ne moom su gañee bii mooy last elective utam su wiinee bii mooy last liyam te am nga nit ki tamit su nekkee nit koo xam ne dafa am kaddu am cër te lu mu wax mu déggu si moom mu su see delloo gannaaw su waxee dara tam balaa nga koo dinaay wala balaa nga see ñaaw njorta jox ko ci parce que Halifa MPC bu mu amoon Serekunda West Serekunda foofu noonu 2022 bu mu demee ba wax ne 2021 du taxawaat elective election 2022 am nañu National Assembly election te ñun ñëpp war nañ ne su Halifa taxawatoon Serekunda as an MP he will win it waaye deful loolu dafa jàppale suñ cousin suñ ndawi parti mooy Moussa Cham ba kooku tey mooy nekka one of the second National Assembly members si parti bi si National Assembly bi so xam nga kooku noonu doo mun a ñëw rek nga ne kii wax na dara génn na si parce que gisuloo indiloo benn firnde indiloo benn evidence now recently dañ interview CDS si suñ plateforme bi Mr. Njie su nekkee Uncle Suwaibou ñëw na wax ma rek because programme bi
so go ahead so daanele su ko fee ma dem si ñeneen ñi waaye go ahead maa ngi try Suwaibou lu ñoo wax go ahead
waaw so nga gis ne recently dañ interview Uncle CDS si suñ doy plateforme bi on TikTok buñ ko interviewé mu wax fa dara so wax boobu nag moo indi yëngatu bu bari bii ni parce que man sax balaa boobu noonu in December bu passé ni Uncle Halifa came for the Europe branch AGM in London fii ni mooy December bu passé ni 2024 I went there it was invited to all Gambians bu ma fa demee ma jël si benn si ñaari books yu binda mooy national sovereign citizen ak how to build a constitution ak yu demee noonu so bu ñëwee si question and answer session man I was one of those people ñu laaj ci Uncle Halifa this question mooy ne wax na ne in 2021 du taxawaat benn elective election te Gambie ñu ngi nekk at a crossroad ndax in 2026 moom dina ceeñaat waxam pour ñëpp si waat o what is his stake tontu yu Uncle Halifa tontu keroog suñu réew yooyu the same tontu la joxe that day bu ma ko laajee those questions and that was on a Doi forum and beneen uncle ku ñoo oowee Uncle Lo moo taxaw mu ne Halifa yow moomuloo sa boppa you have kinda like jël sa life yëpp nga saaf ko Gambian people yi même wax nga lii election biti wala su 2026 jotee
mu go Bakary fana Honourable Suwaibou ñëw na ara Bakary maa ngi jégalu si li ma la dog yaa ngi wax lu interesting dinaa si ñëwaat su kanamee tuuti mu go Honourable Suwaibou yaa ngi maa dégga
jërëjëf Mr. Ndiaye xam naa ne fi jaar rek jégalu because connection yi Gambie
waaw connection bi la ci moom
waaw lu ma doon wax rek Mr. Ndiaye mooy ne dafa am yenn waxtaani parti yoo xam ne it's not just exclusive si doy rek lu yàgga rek am li nga xam ne tam dina nit ay changement dina nit ay soppi doxalin tuuti waaye nekkut changement oo soppi doxalin yoo xam ne tamit comme dafa too instrumental because ñun ñëpp umpuñ ne doy si foundation yuñ leen sampee moo tax ñu tey toolu ba fu ñu toolu ne ku nekk respect leen jox leen cër boobu Gambia because si dëggal la ñoo yëngu te si lu ñoo yëngu tamit luy doxal réew ak luy suuxal réew ak luy njëriñi réew si loolu la ñoo yëngu so am na yenn yokkute yi nga xam ne parti bi nit na ko ñun doomi parti gi si boppam xam nañ ko te waaye foog naa ne yokkute yooyu noonu wala changement yooyu noonu su waree am sax dañ ko war a waxtaanee si biir néeg loo waxtaanee si biir néeg rek nga diisoo rek réeroo du si am waaye foog naa ne tamit comme Mr. Mamadi Kurang comme nu mu ko defee woon ñun waa doy luñ si ñaawlu rek nekkul ne waxuñ ko bu mu speak up waxuñ ko ne bu mu highlight ne there is issues waaye dafa am processes dafa am yoon dafa am ay fànn te gis nañ waxtaan bu am diggante moom sax Halifa it was in a debate Halifa dafa ñëwoon pour leeral pour xëy na moom ñun ñàkkut ne ñu nekk si doy sax am nañ yoo xam ne moom su ko gëstu woon su ko xamoon si parti gi ak si constitution parti gi xëy na yu bari yum doon wax dina ko doon du ko doon def benn ñaareel tamit comme nu ma ko waxee rek yeneen waxtaani comme lu am doy mu ngi am UDP mu ngi am NPP mu ngi am si yeneen parti waaye dafa am channels yoo ko channel saka yow su nekkee da nga dem ba am cër si parti gi waaye nekkul ne doy is a one man party nekkul ne doy is a dictator because man ku ma xam-xam ne man su ma wax ak suma cër ak suma yelleef dinaa jox nit ki respect waaye kenn du ma ñàkk a wax loolu su ma waree wax waaye nag sooy wax tamit dafa am nga teg ko si yoon dafa am fi nga ko tegee ñun loolu lañ ñaawlu si jëfin bi waaye parce que boo xam ne tamit dangaa yëngatu si yëfi démocratie yii du si dee ñaaka ba pare tamit buñ fàtte ne lii history la pour jàngal ñu bari si Gambia ak aduna parce que bii mooy the first time nga amee party leader bu toog on national television di am discussion about internal party issue ak keneen ki nga xam ne dafa bokk ci parti boobu noonu loolu rek tamit wone na njiitu ak suufeel ak bugg a leeralal askan bi nga xam ne faana yooyu tamit Halifa jël na ko now moving forward dafa am yoo xam ne ci parti bi li nga xam ne dañ nit pour adjust ko di only way bu moo mun a am mooy through the elective congress te ñun suñ beneen elective congress bi is due next year so da ngaa gis ne xëñalu Kurang doon wax ne dañ waroon a tànnaat yeneen nit pour mu replace Keks ak Aminata suñ amee yeneen congress si suñ party resolution yu ñëw si congress bi loolu bokk na si sax ba léegi ñu ngi ci gestuwaat doy loi bi nga xam ne moom lañ dee sukkandiku si conference pour élexibilité façon yi su amaatee naka lañ koo saafaare waruñoo toog ay ñaari at ñetti at di xaar pour replace yeneen place yi am nga lu am rek dañ ko dee jàngaan nga gestuwaat si am nga mun see def liggéey pour mun a am nga rek mu gën a rafet yooyu noonu soo lii yëpp mu ngi doon waxtaan la mu ngi doon am si parti gi foog naa suma oncle ak suma broda Kurang moom bu Sidiya génnee ne su Halifa buggee ñëwaat who is Halifa not su ko nit yi buggee pour mu ñëwaat et ña moom tamit xëy na laay mun a wax because nekkuma si biir xelam bi ak xolam bi pour wax yeneen yi waaye foog naa ne tam gis naa fa yaakamti tuuti parce que dem na ba binda sax Halifa dafa wax waxeeta te kilifa nag tamit yeneen yi soo ko junjee rek wala soo ko jiñee rek teguloo ko si yoon rek dina am ñu jógee feneen tamit gis seen boppa parce que ku mel ni Halifa ñëpp xamee nañ ko baat bi nga xam ne dafa sella waxuñ ne su Halifa waxee li nga xam ne jaaduwul kenn warut a wax ni ñoo ne lii jaaduwul waaye sooy junjee Halifa tamit dara wala njiiti parti wala ki nga xam ne dañ ko naw respect ko gaame dañ koo wér si yoon nga wér ko li la óor Halifa lu mu waxoon démba loolu la wax benn tey génnu si su demee ba loolu génn nag loolu mun naa nekk waxtaan waaye as we speak right now soo demee nga toog nga laajte Mamadi Kurang ne jox ma benn evidence fi nga xam ne Halifa wax na waxeet du la ko mën a jox lu nit yi di ut si Halifa nag fon naa Mr Njie dañoo nit pour faire si moom dafa am yenn question yoo xam ne lu ñoo owee open answer question la doo mun a toog nga tiim kilifa nga ne ko man laa laajte question déet wala waaw the question bi mu nekk question boo xam ne nekkul question bu yellow answer pour déet wala waaw so Halifa lu mu wax dafa set moom wax na ne du taxawaat benn elective position that's since 2001 député election am na taxawut xam nga loolu firnde na la kii lu mu wax am na then presidential election bu ñoo jublu benn tey Halifa fu mu taxaw foofu la taxaw Halifa nag su ma explain answer mi dafa am nu mu ko explainer waaye Gambien si luñ bugga ak ñun luñ xam tamit lu bari duñ ko bugga feeña because mag tamit soo demee ba nit yi ñëw ñu ne la dañ bugga lii doo ñëw rek nga ñàkke leen orma wala kilifa kersa rek nga ne leen déedéet duma def lii dañ leen a déglu nga gestu wax bi sega wax bi den su demee waxtu tontu leen jot den ñu gis tontu bi naka la foofu la affaire si tolloogu ma le fi waxtaan bi
jërëjëf Bakary bala maa ñëw rek si Mr Dudu Ndaw leena moom leer na baax na ñu ko dee bàyyi xel gis nga kilifa kudut Halifa Sallah sax kudut Honourable Halifa Sallah sax yaa xam Honourable Sidiya la yaa xam Honourable Ousainou Darboe la yaa xam Honourable Mama Kandeh la gis nga mag baax na always xam ni nga waxee moom ndigte wax ba nit ñi di gën a sawar a déglu wax ba gën a rafet wax buy dugg si biir brain nit ñi mooy wax ji su ànd ak yar ak teggin nit ki sooy wax yaa xam kilifa gu mun a doon yaa xam njiiti parti mun a always rek waxee respect lu am solo la man always góom naa ne nit boo bokkee si mbootaay boo bokkee si mbir dee toppale dee génn rek yóbbu kàddu baat ga sa public ba loolu bu amoon yaa eesa am na ñoo xam ne nañ ko gisee ne wax ja xejam na ba pare nite waxal fa nga war a waxee loolu mooy li gën a jekka loolu mooy li gën a jaar yoon nit su fekkee ne parti bi ñoom den am seeni sarta dëgg la parti boo gis nekku ne ñëpp a dee kontaan si ni ko dee yóbboo su fekkee ne nga am grievances da nga am loo xam ne gis nga ko si parti bi te neew la waxala ñi nga war a waxal képp ko tuddi parti level loolu mooy li gën su ko fee ngeen réglé ko waaye nag su fekkee ne njëkkewuloo foofu topp rek gis li la naxar rek yóbbu ko in the public loola fam ni ko nit ñi di gisee ndik te am na ñoo xam ne gisee nañ ko ne ña du ñaaka Mr Mamadi Kurang, with all respect to him, nak neko fi pour ñu laaj ko neko fi pour defend bopam waaye am na ñu ko gisee ne hejna dafa am rek lu nekk diggante ma Halifa am na sax ñu ko gisee ne hejna moom dafa fil ne moo bëgg a jiite parti bi waaye nag góoma loolu ndigte moom wax na ne ku mel ni Suwaibou mun naa jiite parti bi loolu mooy li gën a tasate ñu invite Suwaibou waaye nag Suwaibou moom mu ngi am connection issue so ñu ngi jégalu bu baax mbokk yi si loolu fi mu nekk bala maa ñëw si Dudu Ndaw laa bëggoon a ñëw waaye Fodé ne dafa am lu mu bëgg a wax Mr Sissawo ñu may la rek benn 2 minutes rek su ko defee nga wax li nga bëgg a wax su ko defee ñu dal di ñëwaat si panel yi go ahead Mr Fodé Sissawo.
Thank you very much, and sorry for interrupting because Mr. Ndaw has to come. Why the mam interest is this person actually. Okay, mbeme mfola baadi mule drone wala munyinti ko actually I mean the previous passing kamem for wala mu Halifa wala doila problem aning Mamadi Kurang ntenga mem fo mole njandron because comme Mamadi Kurang diamuta outside le fokabang be ko dol senende la jang ngamel long andun ta nakarla wala mo nyinti tonya be dame Mamadi Kurang aning full ambition namo kabiri ngadun ta doy patioto kabira na ta doy patio kam pour ka kafo full ambition pour ka flag bearat bo senata won to ngolon nen to le na be weskos ko koital ata o dispute la bari ale ay Kenya menke wo he got it all wrong completely comme moderator be men fo kan sainting Alpha ay buñale ñininka ebe diamula ñana ali be ko sambala kan ñame wo mu toñale ci mo nak mo manke malay koti on sidi ay problème o sutole Halifa ay problème o sutole do ya problème o sutole o da parti ce problème o le ka fata do ka doya do ka siya ñoti wala ne ko hani corruption o ite corruption o wipe no la totally e ka minimize le so wala mu adama de tekeno la malay koti bar nak this person Mamadi Kurang boy batale aboytale fa tambita no kunna because kabirin atamandiya mo follow konodo doye fa diya mata banta drong he got it all wrong and Halifa question o nyinin kala fo anana ya jela bang
pour kanyu ko kini ñona Honourable Suwaibou Touray ñona
yeah exactly
ok bon ma ñëw si Dudu Ndaw Mr Ndaw ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray.
Assalamu alaikum askani Gambia radio assalamu alaikum déglukat yépp ñu ngi leen nuyu di nuyu panelist si programme bi yépp tey di special nuyu to our guest Honourable Suwaibou Touray of PDOIS National Assembly Member for Wuli East if I'm right. Honourable ñu ngi la welcome on askani Gambia radio. Li ma njëkk wax sax mooy first of all ñu ngi ndokkale we congratulate sen former Secretary General or party leader Honourable Halifa Sallah for the stance that he took by honoring his words mu clear to the Gambian people mu nekk loo xam ne wax dëgg lu kenn musu la gis comme ni ko Mr Ba waxee rek Bakary si biir dëkk bi fii kon ba léegi Halifa fiñ ko doon sentu fonaane fofu lañ ko fekk muy ni kuy sàmm kàddoom ni ko xam ne gëm na boppam te wax dëgg yàlla kenn werante wut li nga xam ne loolu la ko yàlla may muy tuux ak buga réewi Gambia mooy doon wax rek ne léegi ku fekkee ne Halifa génn na ci that position still a member of PDOIS one of the anchors of PDOIS te yow nga nekk National Assembly Member of PDOIS for one of the longest as well li nga xam ne moom di ko taxawati muy elected offices waaye there are so many appointed or nominated offices yoo xam ne Honourable Halifa mun na fa play in the new Gambia bi ñoo yoon for again as we failed the first yawning but we are aiming for the next one. With the inclusion of PDOIS, whoever they select as a flag bearer, part of a coalition, still Honourable Halifa have a big part to play. How do you see Halifa in that, just on your perspective, not necessarily what is in his mind, but yow si ni nga ko gisee ndax di nga d'accord man ci kàddu googu ndax foog nga ne Halifa du buga participate that is see anything regarding the Gambia as far as the nation building is concerned. Jërëjëf.
Well, I must speak English. Thank you very much for the question. My answer will be very simple. Let me explain that from my own point of view, there is running a leadership system which is called a pyramid. I don't know if you understand the pyramid system. And the pyramid system is that the top is narrow, but the bottom is wide. And the bottom represents the foundation. The bottom represents the foundation. So it means that each leader of day, when you want to, come down, you don't leave politics completely. That's what people should understand. You are not leaving politics completely because you have already taken the position that you are going to be in politics to serve your people for the entire life. And therefore, if that is the case, what you do is just come down from a position and then come to the bottom, which is the foundation. Solidify the foundation, make it strong, and help the younger generation to go up. I believe that is what we are implementing, and Halifa or whoever will implement the same thing, whether we say it or not. I think if you remember a person like Adam Abba, he was in the Central Committee, but decided to ask the Central Committee to allow him to come out of the Central Committee, be able to go and do something else. And then the party allowed him to do that. But even after that, Adam Abba was now approached by people to come and stand as their candidate for mayorship in KM, which he did. He did not win, but at least he stood and served the people in that domain. So I believe when Halifa comes down, whether if he comes down this election, he will not leave politics. He is not leaving politics. I think that clarification was not done very well. Those who understand what he is saying will understand that what he is saying is that he was not going to abandon the struggle. He was not going to leave the party. He will, whatever he does, he will come down to support whoever is there to move on, the new generation to move on. That's the explanation, and that should be clear. Now we are saying whether if he does not stand, I am telling you that Doi is full of capable people. There are capable people in the Central Committee. There are capable people who are also coordinators. There are capable people in the diaspora. We have diaspora branches in the US. We have diaspora branches in Europe. And all these people are degree holders and they are very experienced people. Maybe I don't need to tell you them, but they are many, they are numerous. Which means that in a democracy, we go for a primary. People should understand that also. That the position in the party does not necessarily mean that that person, is going to be the presidential candidate. If you remember very well, Syria Jada was the presidential candidate at a time when Halifa was the Secretary General. So Halifa became Secretary General, and continued to be Secretary General, and also became a candidate. So when he comes down, the party will choose somebody else to replace, to become the flag bearer. Flag bearer is just momentary. You stand for election, and after election, your flag bearer position is dead until another election. Then the people will have to decide. Now, when the people are deciding, they are not deciding at the Congress as to who will be the candidate. The modality of that primary will be done in the Congress, at the Congress. Everything will be, decided at the Congress. But the election will be done outside the Congress. All the members of the party will participate in that election to nominate somebody or to select somebody to be the flag bearer of the party. So that is how we move on. And I believe that all these capable people, including myself, if we are selected, we are going to play the role, just like we play the role for National Assembly. We play the same role for the presidential election as well. I believe that if decides to put somebody, there are many people to pick, and I believe they are very capable. Thank you.
Jërëjëf Honourable Suwaibou fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Mr Baboucarr Mbodj. Mr Mbodj ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray?
Jërëjëf Raji Saliou maa ngi nuyu suma collègues yëpp Jibril Fadia Doud Ndaw Ablaye Sanyang Honourable Suwaibou and Fodé Sissawo ak Bakary. Anyway, man, duma muna laajte because Honourable Suwaibou is my colleague, and my role in the party mooy pour make sure ne we liñ gëm ñu topp ko. Waaye nag mbuya mën naa leeral tuuti ya benn point. Ñu ngi wax ne na Halifa wàcce. Waaye dañ fàtte ne as a Secretary General you are elected, and sa term mu ngi jeex suñ amee elective congress léegi su wàccee léegi te amuñ elective congress kan moo fa nekk ndax nit ñi xam nañ loolu because mënuloo jël keneen teg ko fa te demuñ congress because Secretary General Central Committee mënu koo taana kenn mënu koo taana nit ñoo ko mën a taana ndax nit ñi xalaat nañ loolu léegi ñu ne Halifa wàcca léegi kan mooy nekk Secretary General ndax nit ñi mos nañoo xalaat loolu. The second thing mooy affaire flag bearer comme ni ko Suwaibou explained loolu moo fa nekk and the problem with li ñoo wax courant with doy nit ñaa ngi ko blow out of proportion waaye man jàngat bi ma si gis ne lii dafa la dimbale doy pour wane ne waaw am na nit ñoo xam ne ñu ngi xalaatee nii léegi xam nañ ko dinañ toog waxtaan pour solve the problem. So man yaa loolu laa si gis waaye ma bàyyi leen yaa ba beneen yoon xëy na Suwaibou dina gën a mën a aag si loolu.
Jërëjëf Chair jërëjëf Mr Baboucarr Mbodj. Ok man dal ñëw si Jibril Fadia. Jibril ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray?
waaw jërëjëf maa ngi leen a nuyu yéen ñëpp Alhaji Saliou Bakary Ba Sissawo Mr Mbodj Chair Doudou Ndaw suma brother yéen ñëpp maa ngi leen a nuyu di nuyu tam suñu honorable bi Ablaye Sanyang tam di nuyu Honourable Suwaibou Touray di wax first of all ñu ngi ko sant di ko gërëm bu baax a baax taxawaay bi nga xam ne loolu la taxaw Gambia si parlement bi nit ñi recognize nañ ko ak stand bu mu jël pour nit ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi si diaspora bi wax dëgg neex yàlla jàmbaar la mu ngi liggéeyal réewam yal na ko yàlla fay yàlla may ko fan bu guddaa wér gu yaram gannaaw loolu itam suma lu ma bëgg a laajte rek pour Honourable Suwaibou Touray li ma jaaxal mooy attestation élection si yaa ngi ñëw am na élection yu bari yu passé attestation si jamono ji nga xam ne fu mu nekk nii nekkuñ si jamono tubaab bi nekkuñ si jamono président Jawara waaye ñi nga xam ne sax juddu nañ 1994 tey war a am 25 years waaw kon nag léegi lan moo war a tax ba léegi nii attestation di continue all these election problems yi even in Banjul de Gambia nga xam ne Banjul mooy capital bi naka la fa nit ñi di amee attestation foo xam ne foofu ñëpp foofu lañ dee dem utee ji kayit kan moo mun a wax Gambia fii ne di nga wasin si biir kër gi biir Banjul demuloo clinique ba mu nekk ay ñaata nit ñuy leen a war a jox attestation loolu man pour man loolu sàcc la ñu ngi ko def outside Gambia di ko def fu nekk a ponkali góor bu em ni Pasamba Jaw taxaw ne man aw ma kayti juddu aw ma kayti noos ñeegee léegi sa borom dafa am jabar wala bu dee jigéen la nga am ay doom ba caatlu nga taxaw ci kanami nit ñi dem si alkaali boo xam ne kenn électuta lañ la select mu ñëw taxaw ne la si dëkk bi laa dikka yow nga accept loolu jox ko kayit boo xam ne moo ko dem jox passeport jox ko voters card jox ko ID loolu definitely dafa nekk sàcc man ni ma ko waaye Honourable Suwaibou mbeñi ni kala alakan kilakan albe mu ne keno la pour ñing attestation suñar ko ñi pour aliya stop akana soto kati fo nyimbe seto nolel ban
yebrele ni mbara bake o yinga o kumata na mi da bring mika ndo bungi be ba jela ko yesaba min ke ndibe mo le ko men la attestation kadu nim bangu ye registration training birth certificate registration it has even to the smallest villages certain been built last time it has updated to more register kila birth certificate so system of the banko kan ni ne identity ko alkali buko dila mo de la sa do ya mari register na jam muso de sa do ko government la local park attendant traditional park attendant wala fana mo de sa do ko ita ni timu da shi ke fiyo sabe la ye rede sabe ya di alkalo fana yo ni wuta lopitan la fana lopitan register bi jele me ay dan ko ni mari wulu ko jam agum nyande ko bin ko am wulu jang par gambia you know men ya wulu jang wal man gambia bi baradi wulu gambia so ni adri ko beso do woto pour que attestation su ko sign am necessary par la sa ngam fa non bi bangul gambia non ko mo ko la ka fali iman la fali mula ruling party me bi député bunto majority be bulje wol man la fi attestation ye fali yo UDP fana ila mol bi je minimum la fi attestation ye fali so ni ko ñom do wala majority so ngam mu ke je wala mu indi ko na daran député bunto ni la de ye clause de demande fay compromise so na compromise le ke je don ka ko attestation no bi la sefo ngaw da bi je ko na attestation par alkalo aussi attestation bi diving na je ka je ko mo ko di fel ni ke kemati almost 75% de bafula ko attestation yo agum yemen fo abijele min alkalo ka attestation di tapalias keno ki par ni alkalo man attestation di tapalias keno tula jam ni agimen ni moy na debate moy lo balam bafula ko mi ñande kala wala mi ko registering officer is la registering officer mais on ga be mo interview la ñande mo interview la ami ni kay de kendo na anyante interview la out of the interview as not discover nun ka di ñi kay do so ba am ngi gambia aso mari disqualified from 1965 kada pro 1992 wala be keri ni mo interview through the interview na da ga even though I valid gambian passport kay do so bari amangi gambia afaya declare ka abu mangi gambia mbama animfama iwuda ginile wala iwuda gini bisa wala iwuda sarliyo sama ri balino karkero bari imalla ko fana idum so bit mi tan political will politician min bijang wala man tafi kaji ko system moy fali abi system mo abe molle bulu system mo be molle bulu ni molle de system mo fali e ba fali min to na mandar tama kan silo mandama ite mol min yalon ko sembo bela buga motom bon mi yalon ko adiate bari buga keno bende fo regime min bijang wala bantam bilonati ko kul kolandi to mol nyande o famula e karto fay raje ko yo masukunda boyndi e masukunda ko dinati kanyin bambanda maka ko lafta ni falindiro kato ron dara na masukunda e be yalon ni ka ko ndel birimbe kelo la mbati lon la famo na almost 10 point plan le soto electoral reform lafta wala kala abo electoral reform ni registration kuna ba ko no njang time limit ba ko no saban jang absolute majority will be jegam in the second round fana bije and so on but bring enough amurtam mentality abo la quota man diga hansa de fana ne pour moment donam be fan tankan di la nyadi ngam pam fasa incumbency ka ko mo ko diga nan bo bidan student fa biya de ni ko buti je na man ko bari no de ke mbe yalla ni nyande bo di la nyami is very simple ini le kay do na ba ni le kay do na registering officer ni nga wuluda minto e fama wuluda minto men fo na mbelori fana flow ba be jabiro la men ye lom ka ko ye kuma men fo to na fije ni ribasin court si to wol be sambara ribasin court ka gandi ko ite man ke gambia di bari gambia la kay do so ami at the same time fana yemen fo registering officer amangi to na ka di flow be la si sambara ko pour ni ka ma ye la registration par ni be ko je no fana fight le ko man so iko to kala nin kay do membru jamme ya fanya mendro nin valid ID card nata wala nin ba certificate nata wala nin kay do kay nata mina na do ina di register dalo ngol man tek pare de silang na registration electoral process government so wala mu ruling party and in position ben ben now for na inga jabiro woni jab
yeah
jërëjëf Honourable Suwaibou Jibril da nga am a follow up question ndax
waaw
Go ahead.
waaw jërëjëf honorable bi nag dama leen a attaque yéen député yi man mënuma understand bu fekkee ne dañ leen a fay weer bu dee ñu ne for exemple léegi député yi 25,000 ba pare soo leen waree toog pour def seen liggéey ñu fayaat leen wax foog loolu dafa bari.
Go ahead Honourable Touray.
Yes, it's a lot. For an ordinary person in Gambia would say it is a lot, and I would agree that it is a lot. That is what we found there, and all those, some of us who attempt to change that are not successful. You know that since Sidia Jata and Halifa Sallah, in fact, it started with Sidia Jata, they have struggled to change that, but it's just a minority in the house. We could not change it. It comes to Halifa Sallah, Sidia, they were there, they tried to change it, they could not change it. So I came there, me and there with Cham, we cannot change it. But I have taken a position that any excess money that is given to me, which is different from my salary, I will plow it back to my constituents. And that's what I am doing. Anything because I will not leave it with them. If I leave my allowance with them, they said well, they need tea and they need bread and they need other things. They will spend the money on that. But now I take the money from them and then I take it back to my constituents and plow it back to the needs of my people. That's what I am doing. I think you are aware of that. I'm not sure whether you are aware of that, but that's what I am doing. I'm building boreholes. I'm sponsoring children. I'm doing all kinds of developmental jobs in my constituency. Number one thing I'm doing in my constituency is water. Even last week I have inaugurated one water facility for Sarabuli or Kolikunda. You know, which has taken almost 360,000. So that's what I'm doing. When I go, they give me per diem. If I do not finish my per diem, I bring it back and plow it back to my constituents. When they give me clothing allowance, anything they give me which is excess, and I know that this is not fair, I take it back to my people because the money ultimately belongs to the people. So I take it to my people. That's what I'm doing with my allowance. I'm not sure whether that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
jërëjëf Honourable Touray waaw Bakary dafa am lu wax
waaw soo may nu rek am na lu ko Jibril laajte si soose mooy about this attestation te si soose la ko tontu so su nekkee Jibril bëgg na ko summarize si olof rek o man may numa pour summarize ko si olof
waaye ndegem Jibril la ko wax te Jibril dégg na mandinka xaara Jibril ndegem yaa ko wax ko nettali sa laameni borom Jibril nga ko summarize si olof
waaw Bakary suma waay la ren di kon ñun ñoo ci am waaw li ma ko laaj Alaaji Saliou mooy li nga xam ne moo lembee réew mi rek mooy attestation nga xam ne da nga màggee ci gox gi dem ba bi jaaw waaw sànni karta ñëw rek nga taxaw ci kanami alkaali bi nda ko man fii laa juddoo mu ne waa fii ngaa juddoo rek mu jël kayit jox la kayit boobu nga mun koo use pour mun cee am ID card mun cee am sax passeport man loolu laa ko laaj ne ko loolu dama foog na loolu sàcc la moom li moo wone mu ne loolu moom ànd na ci loolu ndax xeex nañ ko lu bari yoon yu bari pour mu génn waaye nag si House of Parliament bi comme que majority carry the vote la ñoom try nañ luñ mun waaye munuñ ci dara waaye am na nag luñ jéego buñ ci def ñu ne comme que léegi duñ mun a bàyyi CFO yi di ko def alkaayil yi di ko def comme mënuñoo am the whole thing pour ñu baan ko waaye léegi ñu ne kon nag nañ ko génnee ci loxo CFO yi mu dem ci loxo alkaali yi te mu ne co seetloo sax ku juddoo ci gox gi da ngaa gis ne alkaali bi ñu ngi ko jox paper registration paper book boo xam ne ku fa juddoo daf koo binda te su ko bindee daf ko dee hand over to local governments loolu yëpp mu ngi fa all the time pour mu xam ña nga xam ne ñoom ñoo juddoo foofu kon léegi kon ñii la tut pour ñuy def attestation so loolu mu ne loolu mun naa possible pour mu indi man dama ne loolu sàcca la waaye xam nga moom loo meeka la moom dafa lifin careful mu ne mun naa nekk sàcca waaye man dama ne loolu sàcca la so ndax mu ne ndax tontu na man definitely li wax tontu na li nga xam ne loolu laa ko laaj.
jërëjëf Jibril bala maa ñëw si Ablaye Sagnang rek ma dal di am lu ma bëgg a laajte Honourable Touray Gambien ñu bari ñu ngi wax naan Halifa dafa war a step aside am ñu ne waruta step aside waaye leena wér na ku melni Ablaye Wade ba mo ñew di nek président mom magon Honourable Halifa Sallah fouf te nek na président Sénégal ba génn fa. Honourable Halifa bantay mu ngi amé lot of energy, mu ngi déssé xelam alhamdulillah xelam nacca na bantay mu ngi déssé katanam. Su fekkee ne ñu ngi wax lolu ba Halifa mujjé gi mu daldi bay Gambian politics mba dun dem ba ci biir ñu daldi reccu ne suñu yëgoon bay fi Halifa nitel dama ragal rek li nga xamne moy li daroon Père Ndiaye daldi ñu dalaat ci Halifa Sallah te Honourable Halifa bantay wax dëgg nekk na voice boo xam ne is a very powerful voice ma bëgg a xam rek lan mooy sa gis-gis ci li ma wax.
Hello, yes. Well, just like what I said, I don't think I will say anything more than that. I'm saying Halifa is still needed in Gambian politics. As long as he is healthy, as long as he is alive, he should be part and parcel of Gambian politics because he is still needed here. His voice is still needed in Gambia. And the effort he is making, we appreciate it and we honor it and we are gratified that he is playing that role. Now, it is politics. In some parties, they will say, well, when you stand once, you stand twice, and you could not make a headway, we give way to another party, which is normal. But if the Gambian people still need him, I don't see any problem why we should not put him up. But we must be careful that Gambian people will say, we need you, maybe just 10 people, and all of a sudden they put you up and then you come and get 30,000, 35,000. That is not something that's taking us anywhere. So when people are saying we need him, we want to put him up, they should be serious and they should work towards it to ensure that he wins. And winning means that you need three things to win. One is we need a good candidate who is qualified, who is the most appropriate, and the second thing is we need finance to finance that campaign. You must take out the finance to campaign for that person. Thirdly, you need a very good campaign manager who will work to ensure that this campaign becomes successful. If the campaign people say we want Halifa, I believe they should be sincere. They should ensure that we all come together and fight. It is only through fighting that we can make somebody to win. But only to tell him we want you, all of a sudden they go and stand and then we see the same results will be very disappointing next time. So for me, I believe in the pyramid system. If he still wants to go when people tell him, well, he can continue. If that is not the case, he wants to come down, he comes down to the foundation and support the new generation to take it up from there. Maybe through that, we may be able to get some success. You can see the UDP, how many years they have been fighting to try to take over the country, but they could not. But when we put up Adam Barrow and we did all the needful, we did all the fighting, everything that is necessary, finance was not short. You know, intellectuals have come out to support. The Diaspora came out to support. The Gambian people came out to support. Government with all his ramifications was defeated. And therefore, because the people stood up and say enough is enough. So if we are going to put Halifa, I believe we must respect the man, give him all the respect that he deserves, recognize the effort that he has done for the country, and then promote his position and ensure that the Gambian people understand the situation and vote for it. And that cannot happen until good campaign is done in every village, in every district, in every ward, in every region. We must have a team that will be there 6 months before election to ensure that no Gambian will be left in this country who will say, I did not hear what these people have done. I think if we do that, we will be able to succeed. But without that, it's like what the Maninga said, you take somebody up the tree and then you stood down to look at him. That is something that I'm appealing to people to avoid. Gambian people with their mindset, these are some of the things they do. When they will be saying something, when they don't actually mean, I think that attitude should not be condoned. That's what I have on that.
ma wala laajaat rek Honourable Touray su fekkoon ne tey parti bi den la tànn su la parti bi tànnoon, are you ready to lead the party or not?
This is what I'm saying. Nobody in Belgium will run away from responsibility. If for example, Sallah is not standing, and then the party selects me or selects whoever, I will support that person, and I will willingly take the responsibility, because if somebody must take that responsibility. And if people come and say, it is this person that we want, I don't think anybody should run away from that, because running away from that responsibility is also, trying to destroy the contract you have with the candidate, and that should be avoided.
jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Apply Sanyang Apply ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray.
Thank you, Alai Salih. Assalamu alaikum. Léegi yaa ma dégg.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, sir. Maa ngi wax assalamu alaikum di nuyu Mr. Touray Kunda nga bi indil tey loolu ta affaire yi mënut a tàlli Touray Kunda yi jéem baa ngi fees Alai Salih maa ngi nuyu suma mbokki Gambien yi ak suma brother nekk si panel bi fu may commencé mooy ne doy dañ war a change seen way doy dafa doy seen constitution bi ngeen di joytu nii Mr. Ba wax na ko mi na Halifa moomut boppam doy as a party moomuñ seen boppa Gambien yi ñoo leen moom because Gambia electorate si ñoom form doy so Mr. Touray seen gentleman word boobu noonu is better ngeen suwaalo ko constitution suñ ko draw dañoo dem round waxtaan doomi réew yi so doomi réew yi lu ñu agree mooy agreement bi mooy lay ñëw to a debate to a draft constitution mu ñëw si to the parliament Adama Barrow toog na as an individual above all of the Gambians mu den draw his own paper your national constitutional council bi li ñu draw seen own draft constitution them round all over the country even the Gambians in the diaspora ñoo ñi indi teg ñu teg si table Adama Barrow foyantoo ñu Adama Barrow foyantoo Gambia above 2 million people his interest yéen a ngi wax ne gentleman agreement what gentleman agreement are we talking about here the country belongs to the people the voice of the people that rules that comes to be the law so we draw leen den seen word boobu noonu di wax gentleman agreement loolu Adama Barrow mu ñoo foyantoo te Mr. Kurang sadi leen waxam bi léegi Gambia fu tollu foofu national security is at stake we are being invaded by a foreign power Gambia is not governing itself what is at stake is higher than whatever we are fighting within ourselves sali leen affaire Quran bi xalaat leen Adama Barrow toog na mi ne gàcceem la moo daw ku gis gàcceem mooy ne 2026 mi ne du oo daay may fàtti teg na ko Momodou Sabally mi ne ku gis loolu opposition yi ñoo rule fii seen dead body Ismaila Ceesay the same word yéen Gambians yi lan ngeen di xaar pour ngeen form yourself to rescue the Gambian people lan ngeen di xaar man loolu laa laaj thank you sir.
jërëjëf Apply ñu daal di may Honourable Touray man tontu nga amal Apply Sanyang.
Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very much. Thank you. I heard him very well. I want us to understand one thing, that people play a lot of politics when it comes to this draft constitution. The last time, the UDP did not like the draft constitution, but they went and accepted when the MPP said they don't like the constitution. This time, the UDP does not like the constitution, and then the MPP is saying they like the constitution. These are the two big parties in the parliament. Let's not forget that. So let's also not focus on Barrow too much. Let me tell you, I can say for sure that the ruling party does not like this 2024 draft constitution. But there are many forces behind. Many forces are in play, putting pressure on the government to have a new draft constitution which will entail absolute majority principle. It will also entail or embody, how do you call it, term limit. These two things are the main reason why we are going to have a draft constitution. And they are in this draft constitution. Now, when are we going to have a draft constitution that will have a term limit, that will have a second round of voting in our constitution? When are we going to have that? It must start somewhere. Now, the last time, the MPP rejected it because they say it should not be retroactive. That Barrow should not lose, the first 5 years should not be counted as part of the 2 terms. And then they rejected it on the basis of that. All those who supported Barrow at that time in Parliament rejected the Constitution because of that. Now, these people are also saying the 2020 draft must come to play, must come back. And technically, legally, that cannot come back. You cannot bring back the 2020 draft. So if we reject it this time also, it means that we have to continue to election in 2026, and after election in 2026, people start saying, let's bring another draft. We are going to be spending a lot of our money on draft. These drafts are not made in a vacuum. A lot of money is being spent to spend on these drafts before you can put them into. So I believe that if the Gambian people understand the politics that is at play, they would accept the draft constitution, because it has two fundamental things there, which are absolute for the enhancing of our democracy. One, term limit. Two, absolute majority principle. Once we have that absolute majority principle, you don't need to go to another party and say, let's have a coalition before the vote, the first vote. All you do, all parties can go, put their candidates up, and then check them, test themselves in the field. And if they don't, go to the second round, whoever goes to the second round in the opposition can discuss again. And you are the flag bearer. I'm coming in to support you, and whether I'm interested in this position or this position. So I am coming in to support you. I'm not going to get any position in your government, but I will support you so that we have a new government, and I will be interested to ensure that this provision and this provision and this provision and this program must be included in your manifesto to ensure that when you win, this is what we are going to do. That's all I'm interested. So people can come in with different reasons, but then it will be in the interest of the country. But if we reject it again, we are pushing the whole situation again to 2031. That's what we are saying. So another 2031. When are we going to have a constitution that will enhance our democracy? When are we going to have a constitution that's going to ensure that the Gambian people, whoever they decide, will be the leader of the country? So this is the dilemma we have. So either we accept this constitution, in my view, move with it to ensure that the good things there are kept by the ruling party, or if they reject that, we drop it, and nobody should talk about a new draft constitution again. What we should be doing is to do what we have suggested to them before, that is, to change the constitution piecemeal, provision by provision. Whatever we don't want, we change it, just like we are doing. We are making a lot of amendments in the constitution. So let's continue to make those amendments. If the government comes into power that is really genuine and progressive, they can make changes in this draft without having to create a new draft. Because we have suggested that to them. Let's calculate all the provisions that we think they can be changed by the Parliament without having to go to a referendum. Bring that to Parliament, we do our scrutiny, we do our whatever we want to do, and then we vote for that, and then it pass. Then the entry clauses. The entry clauses are what we cannot change without a referendum. If the government in place wants to add anything to the entry clause, they can add it to the entry clauses, and it is easier to explain those entry clauses to the people for them to understand and to vote for, rather than to vote for 300 and something provisions in a constitution. Well, there must be something in the constitution that you don't want. Everybody will see something there that you don't want. And if people go by what they don't want, they will vote against the constitution. And the threshold is very high. The threshold is 75% of the National Assembly in the first reading, in the second reading. In the third reading, it is 75%. And in the referendum, 50% of the electorate must participate. And the 50% that participated, if you make it 100%, 75% must say, yes, they want the new draft. Otherwise, it will not go. So it is very, very high for a new constitution to come into being. So instead of wasting our resources on constitution building, let's do piecemeal, adjustments in the Parliament. But even that will not be easy, because we have a ruling party that does not have the political will to bring about change. So which means that the Gambian people must come together. It is a must. You mentioned it before. The Gambian people must come together like we have done in 2016 and come together in good faith, come up with good agreement, good MOU, and make it binding on the person who is going to lead this coalition to ensure that whatever is in that draft or is in that MOU must be implemented when the person comes to power. And this will be translated to the Gambian people, and when the Gambian people accept that, I believe when change comes, it will be a durable change, It will be a progressive change. It will be a change that Gambians will say, we do not regret this change. I think for me, that is the way forward. I'm not so whether that answers the concern.
Jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi nekk ma dal di ñëw si Bakary Ba. Mr. Ba, go ahead.
Jërëjëf Mr. Njie, just 2 comments la am, then maa ngi am a question pour Honourable. First comment bi rek mooy di ko jaajëfal parce que wax na fi dara loo xam ne dañ ko war di santé ñi dee jiital. Fona du moom rek moo ko commencé si doy most of our doy leadership fona si tam daf ko doon def li nga xam ne mooy seen allowance o li nga xam ne is excess to li nga xam ne mooy seen fay weer ñoom dañ ko dee jël def ko comme luñ dee oowee constituency fund te war na digga just fona last week or week before maa ngi gis si suñu forum yi ne mu ngi spend nearly 300,000 si li nga xam ne moom si allowance yuñ ko fay la jël alaw xaalis boobu noonu dimbale ko si gox bu mu joxegee so dafa mel ni Gambia suñu amoon doy MP yu bari problème yu bari ñoo jànkonte
Honourable Suwaibou Touray
waaw Mr. Touray mi comme moom ak surtout que ni luñ ko dee fay au sitting allowance ami au loolu la dee jël moom lu mu dee jël yóbbu këram rek mooy salaire am buñ ko dee fay anything extra luñ ko lii daf ko dee jël tegee ko boor dem si goxam mu am comité boo xam ne ñoo dee gestu lii lañ soxla particularly lu dee dem si jafe-jafe ndox ñu jël so imaginal MP bu dajale almost 300,000 plus si allowances am te am na ay soxla am na ay family waaye loolu mu foog ne because waru koo jël waaye delloo na ko fu mu war a delloo loolu dañ ko si war a waa jërëjëf ak gars yi doyu day def loolu noonu.
Oh definitely loolu is a very good example. Go ahead.
Yeah. Secondly tamit foog na na fi very good point boo xam ne gis nga suñ dee way fi leadership ak gëstu réew Gambie dañ si war a sente doy lu bari nekkul ne dama far si parti bi moo tax ma koo wax waaye dafa am lu Halifa waxoon in the House of Parliament in 2017-18 te ñu bañ koo def loolu indi lañu ay jafe-jafe yu bari te léegi lu mu waxoon te ñu bañ ko loolu lañ nekk di def dafa waxoon ne buñ indee da force amendment clause mooy bu change constitution bi to amend the vice president and the president's age limit nuñ ko indi woon si néegi député bi sax daf si glaasoon ak then justice minister mooy kuñ doy oowee Ba Tambadou because nuñ ko gasete woon ak nuñ ko table woon was wrong so Halifa push back after Ba dafa ñëw si assembly si boppam apologize te that day la Halifa taxaw mu ne Gambia suñ buggee constitution soo gisee ñu am néegi député seen liggéey lu si gën a bari mooy gëstu lu nguur gi di def waaye tam defar ay loi te luwaay Gambia dafa am ñaari fànn Mr. Njie dafa am lu ñoo oowee entrenched clauses ak untrenched clauses untrenched clauses yi mooy li nga xam ne luwaa yoo xam ne mooy doxal réew boo xam ne député yi mun nañ ko wecci entrenched clauses yi mooy yoo xam ne loi boo xam ne dañ ko yóbbu référendum Gambie ni saani ko ñu nangu mu nekk loi soo compté suñ entrenched clauses yi dafa néew bariwut Halifa lu suggestion in that year mooy kon ka député yi seen liggéey bokk na si pour defar loi sanse loi jagar loi ñoom député yi nañ jël lu ñoo oowee entrenched clauses yi ñu defar ko den yeneen yu néew yi nga xam ne dafa nit pour dem référendum den ñu def si liggéey ñu set up commission ñuy gëstu loolu nga xam ne lu niiw loolu noonu la ñoo yóbbu pour élection loolu man si suma gëstu ak si suma xam-xam ak tey fuñ toll suñ ko defoon di kon am nañ constitution bu ees so loolu tam dañ seet war a santé gré doy ak seen leadership bi ak xalaat bu si defoon now my question to Mr. Honourable Suwaibou Touray Uncle Suwaibou, recently we had a lot of bills coming through the parliament and one of those bills was clause 14. Clause 14 dealt with about the diaspora registration, and I believe you are the chair of the Constitutional Review Commission or the committee within the Parliament. You can clarify your position on that. But my question is, we in the diaspora, we felt we are disenfranchised. There was a Supreme Court ruling that also kind of solidified that to say Gambians in the diaspora, according to the Constitution, if we are Gambian and we hit the threshold of all the qualifications, we should be registered and we should be able to vote. Now, can you just tell us what happened with that clause 14 and what is the solution and why Gambians in the diaspora, who are a very important constituent and a stakeholder in the Gambia, after all these changes, we are still not being able to vote, and it looks likely we're not going to be able to vote in the next election. Thank you.
Very good question, Bakari. Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Yes, Bakari, thank you very much. Clause 14 is a very important one. Nonetheless, that will not stop you from voting. That will not stop the diaspora voting. Clause 14 is saying the Commission shall register a Gambian living outside the Gambia as a voter if he or she satisfies the requirements for registration prescribed under this Act. That's what Clause 14 is saying. 1. Clause 14, 2 is saying the Commission shall, in consultation with the Inter-Party Committee and Cabinet, prescribe detailed rules for the registration and voting of Gambians living outside the Gambia to vote in presidential elections, referenda, or any other election as determined by the Constitution or any other law. Clause 14.3 is saying the rules made by the Commission under subsection 3 shall specify A, the criteria for the selection of voting countries where elections are to be conducted, and B, the appointment of election officers and the conduct of elections. So this is going to facilitate the registration of Gambians living outside the country. It's also going to facilitate the election outside the country. That is the idea. So what all that is saying is that if the IEC wants to conduct registration, they should consult the Inter-Party Committee where all the political parties are in that group and have an idea from them. They can also consult the Cabinet because in terms of finance and other matters, the government is very crucial in any election that is taken outside the country. Even in the country, don't talk about the outside the country. So that's what Clause 14 is saying. Now the NPP and the NRP and some of the independent MPs that are in Foni, as well as other independent from Sabak Sanjal and other places, rejected the clause and voted against it. And therefore, it did not pass. But that book is how many provisions? They have over 157 provisions in the election bill, and therefore we have not even gone halfway yet. But there are other provisions that came that talk about diaspora voting. The NPP voted against it, but luckily on that day, the 20 MPs understood what we are fighting, so they joined us. The NRP, I don't know for some reason, they were absent, and only one of their members was there. During this crucial vote, when you see an MP being absent, know that there is a reason. The person don't want to show that I am absent, or I want to abstain, or I don't want to vote for this, so they will absent themselves from the assembly. That I'm not saying that is the reason, but they were absent, and only one of their members, that is Nyamija, was there. So we were able to make that provision to pass, which deals with foreign Gambians living in foreign countries to vote. So which means we have succeeded in one place, one provision relating to it. We have lost two provisions relating to it. But there are still other provisions in the bill which are related to Gambians living outside to vote. Now we are going. If the trend continues, those provisions that are in the draft constitution were able to pass. What we can do is, before we pass this bill, we will have to rescind the decision that we have done on Clause 14. And I have promised those who are in the opposition that I'm going to write a motion to rescind, for Parliament to rescind the decision on that. And when we vote for it, it's going to be a vote, because the NPP will still fight back. When we vote and then the NPP lost that one, it means that we are going to go take the matter to the ABC, that is the Assembly Business Committee, where I am a member, and we are going to bring it back, give me a date for another sitting. It cannot be in that same sitting, next sitting, but it's going to be the next sitting, the next session of the Assembly. And when it comes back, then the same process will take place. We will have a vote, and I believe if the trend continues, we will succeed in bringing it back. And once it is brought back, it means that the diaspora voting dream has not died. It will be rekindled. So that's my answer to that. Let's not lose hope. We are still, the way we are going, the Pony MPs, they understood us, and the NRP MPs, I believe some of them have understood us, and they'll be voting with us. And when either they vote for us with us or they don't vote at all. And when they don't vote, the NPP is going to lose a vote, and therefore, we will continue to make these provisions to pass. And eventually, the whole electoral bill will be passed, and then the diaspora will surely, have the chance to vote. That's my answer to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just do a follow-up question, Mr. Njai? Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Suwaibou, for that. I'm glad to hear that the pressure we've put in outside of Parliament is working, because the MP for Nyanija is my MP, and I had a big clash with him. So I'm glad somehow that's working. But as a member, and I believe you are the chair of the ABC committee, prior to this clause 14 was tabled, I believe you guys had a consultation with IEC, and they highlighted some challenges around the diaspora voting, and they came up with a recommendation on how the diaspora might be able to vote. Is that something we could just clarify on here? What was the recommendation of IEC and what consultation you had with them around the facilitation of diaspora voting? Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said, it's not the ABC that actually would dispute me. It's the Human Rights and Constitutional Matters Committee, which I am a member. I used to be the vice chair of that committee. Now I'm just a member of that committee. But for the ABC, I'm the vice chair of the Assembly Business Committee, where any decision, any discussion that should come to Parliament will have to pass through that committee, and it's that committee that will decide as to what the session is going to, what agenda the session is going to do. So I'm part of that also. But in this particular case, it is the Human Rights Committee that did this scrutiny together with the local government committee. It's a joint committee, local government and the human rights. So we did the scrutiny, and we definitely discussed with the IEC, and the IEC is the architect of this draft. This draft emanates from the IEC, and then it went to government, and government approves it. It came to Parliament. So which means that if the MPs in Parliament, do not want to undo what their government has decided, they should simply accept this. Because this thing comes from the cabinet. It went from the IEC to cabinet to the National Assembly. But sometimes governments can be hypocritical. They will, because of the pressure, they will put, they will accept something that is put, and when it comes to Parliament, they will go under and tell their MPs, don't accept this. And then when the MPs reject, then they will say it is Parliament which is rejecting, when it is the ruling party itself which is rejecting. So the challenge is the IEC mentioned. The only challenge that the IEC mentioned, the major challenge, is that we are running an electoral system which is based on marble voting, what we call verification. It's based on marble voting. And marble voting, you have many drums, and you have many marbles, all these verification, and then you have this sawdust. They are saying they cannot handle this election, the diaspora election with this particular, type of election. But when we go into paper ballot, that will be very simple. It will just be one box, which will be transparent box, and then it is envelopes and photographs that people are going to deal with, which is simpler for them, and you will have only one polling booth and one ballot box. And throughout the country, the world, they can be able to do this. Just like the whole world is doing it. Only the Gambia is doing marble voting. Only Gambia, in the whole world, only the Gambia is doing marble voting. The rest of the world is in paper ballot. So we have no excuse to say that the Gambian people cannot understand, paper ballot. But there are people who believe that when we change from this, they are going to lose. That's their belief. They believe that the people who are, illiterate, they must continue to use this, because this is what they can, this is something they know how to manipulate. I don't know why they are sticking to it, but that's what they are saying. So the challenge is we should transition to paper ballot, so that the IEC will easily go there. But we see that there is a pushback. The MPP is still rejecting. There are other people who are saying, hey, this is not safe, or people don't understand that. So we say, okay, the committee agrees and say, okay, now let's have a compromise. We will say paper ballot stroke model, so that the IEC can conduct paper ballot outside, and then they can conduct marble voting inside the country, which was accepted at the committee level. But when we came back now to the assembly to actually do the consideration stage, to change or accept or delete something. That's where the problem comes. They will be pushing against all those things to ensure that the REC does not actually do the registration and election outside. So that's my answer to that.
Thank you. Mr. Nyabala Mare, one more question on this matter and then my hand over. So my note.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Suwaibou. Now that we knew you have an intention of trying to revive that clause 14, I understand that Honourable Musa Cham, the PDOIS now for Serekunda, tried to revive it, but I think it needed a motion with notice. So are you guys going to prepare yourself now to make sure that the proper parliamentary procedure is followed to revive that clause by motion with notice? Thank you.
Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Yeah. Is the procedure that the Honourable missed. You know, at that particular point in time, you cannot reverse the decision. What I'm saying is that you have to go up to the end of the bill itself. When you do all the consideration of the bill, before the third reading comes, then one will come with, just like we are saying now, one will come with a motion, which is in writing, and then present it to the Speaker. And the Speaker or clerk will take that to the ABC committee, Assembly Business Committee, and they will schedule, the consideration of that particular bill, to rescind that bill, to another date, in another session. And then when that session comes, then the process will continue. The same process will come. Then the person will get up and say, I am moving, based on this, the motion with notice, to rescind our other decision on clause 14 of the Elections Bill 2022. And then, or 2020. Then, it will be seconded, and then an election will be taking place. If the Parliament rejects. If there are other people who say no, we must do election, then election will take place, show of hands, and then if the majority says yes, we can, let's rescind it, then it will be rescinded, and then the discussion will ensue on clause 14 again, and then eventually an election will take place. And then if it passes, then it will come back alive. And then it will be part of the bill. That's how it goes. And then it cannot come out again unless if the president wants to take it out. But the president cannot take it out. The president can only write a notice and say, consider this about clause 14. And if he brings it back, it is left with the parliament to say, okay, we agree, the same discussion again, to accept what the president suggested, or to say, no, where we stood before is where we are, and then it will be returned to the president. And now it is a force now for the president to sign, for it, and then it becomes law. That is it. Now the concern I have in the whole process is that there is a time frame for this also. If it goes into very close to an election, 6 months to an election, this bill cannot pass in 6 months towards the election. We must pass the bill well before 6 months to the elections. Because the ECOWAS protocol is saying 6 months to any major election, you cannot come up with new election law, 6 months to an election. That's what happened to us the last time, and I believe that the same dog in Mandinka is now howling to bite us again. So if it goes close to the 2026 election, then this bill will not pass until, the next session of the next assembly of the parliament, then it will come again. I don't know when we are going to, the Gambian way of doing this. They don't want to do anything. It takes a very long time. And they know how to delay it. I believe it is in their mind to delay that so that it will not pass. But they don't want new people to vote. That is clear to all of us. So that's about that.
jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Fodé Sissaho ñu dal di may Fodé Sissaho rek waxtu bi mu ñu xala jaamu Fodé Sissaho go ahead ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray. Ok ma dal di ñëw si Dudu Ndaw Dudu ok go ahead Fodé
ok
di ko mën a jël briefly rek nga laajte sa laajte ban laajte nga amal Honourable Suwaibou Touray.
Okay, actually, Honourable Touray from Nekani.
Go ahead, Mandinka, go ahead.
Wow,
feel free.
No problem. Wow, no problem. At this point of time, what is going to, as a Central Committee member,
whether he see the need. I'm referring to the PDOIS party now. Did he thought of, or is he thinking of any plan to talk to the Central Committee to try to avert all these troubles that are coming up in the Facebook and so forth, so that members in general would understand, so that we change the focus to a new thing rather than these differences being grown to problems in future.
Jerejef, Mr. Sisao. Honourable Touray.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, the party is on a new footing, and there's a transition. We are transitioning from what used to be to a new, situation. And those who are not in the know, those who are not part of the Central Committee, and they are not part of the work, they are kind of in the dark. But all those who are in the Central Committee and they are in the international branches, they understand what we are doing. We have just had a Central Committee meeting, and all the members of the Central Committee in the provinces have come to attend. It's a large group, and we came up with almost 9 to 10 resolutions. You know, one of the resolutions that we have passed is dealing with review of our constitution, the review of our constitution, and in that review we should create a new committee that will review the constitution and that will look into all the loopholes, all the difficulties that we are having, because the party is moving. You know, when we are making the old constitution, that is 1986, it's a very long time ago, and the party has put some laws. Now the party has moved forward and the generation has changed. So we have to review our constitution to put everything in the right footing. Now some people are agitated. They are in a haste because they don't understand what we are doing. So therefore they are bound to complain. And for me, I understand it very well why people are complaining. Now, in the next week, we are going to constitute that committee, Constitution Review Committee, and we are going to ask all the members of the party. It's going to be an open, transparent matter. Whoever has anything in mind to put it into the Bay Constitution, you can write it, through email or through WhatsApp or whatever to a particular, WhatsApp page, where we are going to pick all the suggestions from our members, and we are going to embed it, discuss them, and then there will be a suggestion. The committee, I'm not part of the committee, but the committee will do all the needful, look at all the nitty-gritties, all the needful things to do, and then put it there, and then it will be put in the web forums as well as in the web website and other places for everybody to look at it. And then if you have any suggestion where you are opposed to anything, you can tell us why you are opposed to it, and the committee will review it again and put it before the Central Committee. Once the Central Committee accepts, because there are going to be people in that committee who are not even members of the Central Committee, because the document is going to end up being endorsed by the Central Committee. But the document will not become final until it goes to the Congress, where all the key people are going to be there, all the delegates are going to be there. And when it is discussed there thoroughly, all the provisions of the Constitution, and it is accepted, then it will become the new Constitution of the day. And what we want to do this time is that no one should be left behind. Whoever is a genuine Day supporter, you should not be left behind. We will ensure that all those who are members of the Day, whether you read English or you don't read English, it is the party's responsibility to go from region to region to ensure that everybody understands this document that you should abide by. But when people don't understand the law of their own party, they're not able to abide by it. They will do things that will go and contradict. They will not be able to adhere to it. So this is the new trend. But before we get there, you have a lot of uproar. But the uproar is fine, because for me, what people are complaining is what we are doing. And therefore, if you are doing what you should be doing, there is no need to be angry with what is happening. In fact, it's a blessing in disguise. It is going to rekindle and alert every member of the party to ensure that the law that is going to come again will be the law that is required to move this party forward. I'm not sure whether that has addressed your question.
jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Mr Dudu Ndaw yaa ngi Gambia te yàgga nga xaarte te crédit seer na Mr Ndaw ban laajte lan mooy sa final laajte
waaw jërëjëf Alaaji jërëjëf panelist yëpp ak Mr Honourable Suwaibou Touray quick one rek first of all comme li ma ko bëggoon a wax rek gis nañ ne the National Assembly, which is the 6th legislature being nekani, it is very much disintegrated, especially the opposition. The Honourable Suwaibou, as one of the longest serving Fufunono, and also from the Doi family, who we know their stance and their capabilities. I think the question with all this disintegration, Lulu Tahna, this Barrow government is taking a lot of a right on the Gambian people because of the National Assembly. Previous membership as legislature, Sudan, whole government, and also this time is very weak. And Lulu la bugon the college. Nyom nakalañ pare pour fix Lulu. Considering we need a very strong legislative power. In addition to that, also the powers of National Assembly according to Section 100 of the 1997 Constitution B. This GID, Gambia Immigration Department, solely about them going to Mauritania to issue ID cards. In the Gambia, there is so many people who send ID card expire Muninko renew. And I know personally a lot of people and a lot of areas in the Gambia. And not only in the Gambia, but even if you go to Senegal and other countries, why Mauritania? Any plan to contact the Minister of Interior to the Gambian people, explain to the National Assembly who have the powers. Explain land more special about Mauritania and why Gambians send in the Gambia fee. National ID cards. Issue because it's not available. You want to a team all the way to Mauritania for you want them honorable. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ndaw, very important question. Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Ndaw. These two questions are very important. The first one, you want a strong parliament. Well, it's the Gambian people that bring about the strong parliament. Only the Gambian people can do that. You know that when the first step took over in Senegal, they see that they cannot move because of the old parliament. So they closed the parliament and they went into elections. And then you see that they got a majority. So the Senegalese people have decided that they need a parliament that will be able to come up with progressive laws as suggested by their government. They don't want a parliament that will be opposing progressive things. And therefore they all stood and voted for progressive candidates. Now in the Gambia, the same thing must happen. People will tell put candidates, they should be in the parliament, they should be there. But when it comes to, actually putting up people, voting, then you will see that, they are not voting for the party. You want a good thing, but you don't want to suffer for it. But you think that only the people who are in the leadership can fight. And that's not possible. The change that must come to Gambia must be brought about by the Gambian people. For me, I want to emphasize that. And I think we should all continue to emphasize that. And so that it is the Gambian people that actually can bring about the change that they desire. Now, when it comes to Mauritania thing, thank you very much for the question. I am entitled to only 5 questions. That will be my number 1 question to the Minister of Interior. Why he is taking a team to Mauritania to register people? I don't know, to give ID card to people. Because I don't see the need for a team to go to Mauritania to give ID card. Because those people, before they even leave the Gambia, they have their ID cards, they have their passport. So if your passport is lost, they have in Morocco, I think they have a Gambian embassy there. And then Mauritania will be on the Morocco embassy. And then all you do is, you have this internet situation now. You just inform the embassy and say, I have met my documents and I want the passport or something. They prepare all those things and you send it to Gambia. Because they have a personnel there who brings passports. application for passports to Gambia, with the immigration. They will do them and then the person will go back. Just like they do for Spain, Europe, everywhere. That's what they do. So I don't see any need for any team to leave the Gambia to go and register people outside the Gambia in terms of ID card. So that question must be answered, and it's going to be answered. I'm going to make that my number one question. And I'm sure it's not going to be me alone. I'm sure there are other MPs that also will ask the same question. And then that question will trigger 7 other supplementary questions. So it will be asked and it will be clear to everybody why the government is doing this. If it is not genuine, and I'm sure it's not genuine, for me, I have not seen any genuine reason why a team will be dispatched to go to only Mauritania to register people, to give ID card to people. I don't see the need for it. I don't see the motive for it. I don't know why they are doing it, but it will not be clear. So that's my answer on that.
Jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi mu nekk ma dal di ñëw si Apply Sanyang.
Thank you, Alai Salio. Mr. Touray, I don't know ban committee la boka in the parliament, been a long-serving MP. Executive bi Adama Barrow naka la muna amee $500,000 as a salary. Ngeen joxal ko feeding bi $150,000 a day. Ñaata Gambian xanaa doo leen ko dee average. Ñaata Gambia ñaata la ñoo amee salary scale bi luñ dee am weer bu dee Gambian community bi ñaata leen dee dundee seen dëkk. President bi soo leen ko scale, the executive should not live flamboyantly above the citizens who elect him to that office. For now, can you review that to us? How do you, Adama Barrow, manage to have $500,000 as a salary? And all this incentive, State House have its own budget. So how did Adama Barrow have all this as a salary and a feeding? Thank you, sir. And I wish you good luck to Rekunda. Nyungla Harfi, you'll come again. Doi, we need to screw Doi to get up. Doi been long-time party in the Gambia. This will be the instrumental party to recover the Gambians' failure. I'm Jankadi Ubas, I'm all veterans in beer. So Doi Yensa activity that was slow to we the Gambians. Press conference I'm in front of the parliament, Araboro Tahawe Mupani, Mine do them draft constitution because of immunity boom for Dugal. Yambente Amulen Ben weapon against Arabarongan counter. Thank you, sir. I wish you good luck, my dear brother.
Jërëjëf Apply. Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Yes, I thank Apply very well for this question. It's a very good question. You know, we keep on saying system change. I think that is our mantra. We want to bring about system change. So what the system that we found there, or the system that Adama Barrow found there, is what made it possible for Adama Barrow to have this salary. Jammeh came, he found that system there, and that's what gave Jammeh that high salary. Jawara came, he found that system there, and then that's what made Jawara to have that salary. So it is that system. The colonial system is what we have, and we did not change it. And the people who come, the people who come leaders, take over the State House, they see that that is a privileged thing, and they don't want to change it. Now you need a progressive government that will come and say, no, I don't want this salary. I'm going to do away with this salary. I'm going to do away with this salary. So that's my answer. You see, we found that a salary system is there, and anytime there is salary increment of 10%, the present salary also, which is a high salary, is also increased proportionately 10%. If it is added 20%, the present salary will also be added 20%. If it is added 100%, 50%, the present salary will be also increased by 50%. So that's how you get the high salary. It is the president who will say, no, this is too much for me as the president. You are taking care of my family feeding. You are taking care of my family's clothing. You are taking care of my family's health. You are taking care of my family's well-being. You are taking care of my family's, bedding and everything. My family is getting allowance from the government. So I don't need these increments. Just make it 50,000 or 100,000 and stop there. But the president that is receiving that is not ready to do that. The members in parliament, who are in the majority, who are supporting the president, are saying there is a law. You cannot deprive the president of his rights. I don't know if you understand that language. They are saying when the president has an acquired right, and this is the salary, you cannot come and make law and then reduce that salary. Only the president can reduce his or her salary. But if you have a progressive government, a progressive leader, he can squash that and say, give me 50,000 every month because they are taking care of my other things. Burkina Faso, the president of Burkina Faso gave his allowance to the disabled association, the orphans. He has given his salary to them, or his allowances to them. So that's what change means. If people want something good, they have to fight for it to bring. I think it's Bagger who is saying they should come. They will only come when the Gambian people are ready to stand by Doi to bring about what Doi is calling for. And when they stood by us, they will surely come to power. But they alone to come to power with these few people, they cannot make it. Only the Gambian people can make it. And I think that message should become clear. And some people will say, no, I want Doi to be, but I don't want to be part of the problem. There are people who are supporting Doi, and then all of a sudden you see them, they'll go to NPP and take position. You people don't know them, but we know many of them. Many of them, some of them were even working in the diaspora, and they come and they go into and take one position or the other. So it means that people are not saying what is in them. Let's say now what is on us. Let's practicalize it, and then we will see results. I believe that when we are done quietly with that, we will definitely come up with the result. That's my answer on that.
Jërëjëf Honourable Touray fi mu nekk 2 minutes leen am so xaaral ñu seet ndax dinañ si mën a fit laajte yëpp. Go ahead, Chair, Mr. Baboucarr Mbodj.
waaye jërëjëf Alay Saliou man lu ma bëgg a laaj Suwaibou rek si because du ma dugg si affaire yi bàyyi because Bakary mu ngi fi Suwaibou mu ngi fi so ñoo dëkkan take care of it. waaye li ma bëgg a laaj Suwaibou mooy ne we have 5 parliamentary members yoo xam ne they are not elected but they are selected, and the reason lu tax loi boobu ñëwoon mooy pour ñu am provision boo xam ne am na ñoo xam ne like the disabled ak ñooñu pour ñu mun leen a yóbbu in parliament ñoom tam ñu mun a fight seen cause seen rights yi waaye léegi gis nañ ne that is being misused. Clause boobu noonu amatul njëriñ because fu mu nekk président bi daf ko use ñooñu saa bi ñoo vote they voting for the president because president moo leen fa teg. Is there a way boo xam ne mun nañoo génne loolu or ñooñu duñu am voting rights because they are not voting in my name. And everybody in parliament who is in parliament should be elected to represent people, not one person. Yéen nag nañ ko gisee ndax pare ngeen pour génne loolu or change ko.
Very good question, Chair. Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Wagner, I'm opposed to nomination. I don't believe nomination is democratic. This is a colonial legacy. They left us by colonialists. The Queen used to nominate, or whoever the Queen representative, I forgot, used to nominate 5 people on behalf of the state. And then they nominate whoever they want to nominate. So that is what they were doing. Now the presidents also come, Dawda also nominate, then Jammeh comes, he also nominate. It's just like the salary. They don't want to change it because it's in their interest. They will nominate people who will stand in parliament and fight for their case. And when it comes to voting, they will frustrate the rest of the parliament by voting in a way that suits the president. So they always try to read the president's mind, or they read the president's party's mind, and then they join that party and vote. That is not democratic. The Gambian people to vote for people to bring them to parliament. Nomination is not democratic. Nomination is undemocratic. So therefore, we need to come up with legislation that will say that, for example, when you want to bring women, we come with affirmative action. We can come up with affirmative action. In some cases, we can come up with proportional representation. In some cases, to ensure that these marginalized groups, which are women, youth, etc., can come to parliament. But in Gambia, youth should not in fact complain because quite a good number of the parliament, in fact, the major part is youth. So youth now cannot cry and say that they are marginalized. But for the women, And for the disabled community, they are marginalized. And therefore, we are coming up with a bill. That's luckily I'm part of that committee also, which is called Gender, Women, Children, and Social Welfare. So that committee, we are coming up with a bill, which is going to be called a committee bill. And what we want to do is in each region, we want two women to be elected in each region. And in that election, only the women will stand in that election. No man will stand in that election. No male. Only the female will stand. And but the political parties can put up the female, and independents can also stand in that election. And whoever wins, we will come to parliament, but will come into the parliament in the name of women. So in that way, we'll be able to, remove them. The draft constitution also is talking about putting putting pressure on political parties, or putting a regulation that political parties must also put a percentage of their candidates must be disabled people. So that all parties will put somebody up who is a disabled person, and eventually maybe at least some people will pass through them. These are just affirmative action measures, so that when the government people are aware, until they know what to do, they will not be looking at your physical features. They will not be looking at whether you are a man or a woman, or you are disabled or not disabled. They will be able to vote for you based on merit. They'll be able to vote for you because they believe that you can serve them. And serving people does not know whether you are a disabled person or you are not a disabled person. So that's the only way it can come. Right now, if you want to, we have a draft constitution which is promoting all what I am telling you now. But you have a parliament which is backward on both sides. They will do everything to ensure that disabled people will stand like they are standing, women will stand like they are standing. That's what they will say. This constitution did not, discriminate anybody. Let them stand like they are standing, and let them, when they win, they come. When we win, we come. For them, they are competing people. They forget that they are building a country. This is the type of parliament we have. So now, they can do its part, but really, these nominated members, we will try tooth and nail inside, because this constitution cannot pass without the input of the opposition. So the opposition will be united and say, we don't want nominated members in parliament. And then that will be a fight. And if they know that they are going to lose the whole constitution because of that, perhaps they will rethink the situation and accept that at least we take out nominated members. And whoever is coming will come through proportional representation or come through affirmative action to parliament, but it will be done in an election way, and it will become democratic. I think that is something that when that happens, we'll be able to have a way. But other than that, I'm not seeing any feelers coming from that parliament that will accept removing the nominated members from parliament, because it's in their interest. Thank you.
Jërëjëf Honourable Touray, fi mu nekk ñu daldi may Bakary nga laajte sa last question su ko defee ñu daldi ñëw si Jibril Fadiye daldi tëj programme bi ak question. Go ahead Bakary.
Jërëjëf Mr. Njie di rafetlu programme bi rek di wax Honourable tamit thanks. Moom lanaay future political ambition da dafa taxaw as an MP next or if suñ demee Congress and there is a position of a future flag bearer for the party, whether he would throw his hat in there. Loolu moo nekkoon suma question.
Jërëjëf Mr. Ba. Go ahead Honourable Touray.
Yes, thank you very much. I think Mr. Ba knows that my candidate is Halifa Sallah. So when we go to Congress, as I said, Congress is not selecting anybody as flag bearer. It is after Congress that people who want to stand as flag bearer, they'll put up their candidature and we will go for primaries. And primaries means all the members of the party will participate. So if anybody wants to participate in that election, you should ensure that you are registered. That is going to be one of the criteria. You must be a member of the party before you can participate in that primary election to select somebody to become flag bearer. So at the Congress, there will be no selection of flag bearer. There will be selection of Secretary General, there will be selection of Chairman, there will be selection of the Central Committee members. That's what is going to take place there. And then the law, the Constitution that we are talking about, the draft Constitution of the party will also go to the Congress and it will be voted. it will be discussed thoroughly, and if people accept, it will become law. If people don't accept, there will be some kind of voting, and then if the majority says yes, then it will be the law. So that's what we are going to have. That's what you should expect from the Congress. But for Flag Biara, it's going to be after the Congress, then that activity of primary will come. I'm not sure whether I'm clear on that.
No, thank you. I wanted you to clarify it for the benefit of the viewers, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Bakary. Fi mu nekk ñu dal di ñëw si laajte bi mujjee ñu dal di ko jébal Jibril Fadia jébalaale ko sax caabi bunti kër yi nga dal di tëj.
So ma ko jee Ablaye Sadio du fanaan kër tey de ci tafulay waay jërëjëf waay kontaan nañ bu baax a baax. First of all, Alhaji Saliou ñun ñëpp ñu ngi gërëm doy PDOIS. Mooy parti boo xam ne Gambian bu ko nangu ku nekk ci politique Gambian bu ko nanguwut ñoom ñooy first political party bu ma xam man moo xam ne moo ubbi buti Gambian si political party yi yaaga nañ fa de politique yi yaaga nañ fa pour nit mun a taxaw di challenge nit si constitution mu ngi starté bi PDOIS ñëwee loolu mooy dëgg mboolem ku fi nekk tey si authority si nekk ci kaw amul kenn koo xam ne doo dee read for ya whether incumbent wala opposition di nga taxaw di leen wax lu nekk waaye kenn ku ci nekk si ñun am na loo xam ne jàngee nga ko si PDOIS loolu moom is gonna go down in history whether ñëw nañ ci power bi or not waaye make nañ a change so am nañ achievement te am nañ success already. Beneen bi ma bëgg a teg ci loolu mooy suma question bi dafa ñëw ci constituency allocation si leen dee jox mooy development funds si well ma gis ne 500,000 times 53 constituency wala boog nga ne 54 muy laa jox ñaata 26 million dollars yi so $26 million la ñu allocate all Gambians all constituency ne lii ngeen am seen député bi lii rek la fi mën a indi loo xam ne nii daf ko war a developer seen constituency regardless of the size of the vote dañ ko def one size fit all te constituency si dañ uppante so bu fekkee ne constituency si dañ uppante waruñ koo base ne one size fit all ba pare ñuy jox yeneen departments yoo xam ne amuñ benn relevant in my opinion ci Gambia si duñ ko gis ba pare development yi Gambia bi yëpp ñu jël ko jox ko executive bi ñoom ñooy determine ne ñii saani nañ ma dinaa leen defaral lii ñii saani nañ ma dima leen defaral I think that is not fair there is no ethics li ma foog ndax loolu lañu war a def te loolu lay laaj Honourable Suwaibou Touray mooy ne at least a minimum of 10 or 15 million dollars yi war nañ ko jox constituency bu nekk pour ndax because ñoom ñoo xam what is going on the ground pour ñu dimbale nit ñi xoolal moom out of his own money mu ngi koo jël di def ay borehole nekkul pipe yoo xam ne ndox boo xam ne dañ koo jëlee Europe indi ko Gambia waaye ndox boo xam ne mu ngi si ron suuf si all you need moo nekk get to the water ba pare am sa machine yu ko soak out mu ñëw ci kaw nit ñi naan ko nga xam ne almaul hayat dudut ndox bakkan du mun a dem without ndox muy jur gi muy ñun ñoo lekka muy ñun si suñ boppa kon ndox dafa very important so li ma bëgg a laaj suma question mooy is there any way noo leen a mun a pousser seen constituency development allowance si ñu leen a jox $500,000 yi ndax mënu leen a yokka that amount gisee ko comme ni ma ko gisee ne one thing moo nekk shouldn't be one size fit all because constituency si dañ uppante the second thing is lena tax ba mënuñ koo yokka pour mu mën a meet the needs of the basic Gambian people. Honourable
Alhaji Saliou bala moo answer ma yokk si lu ndaw rek lu tuuti rek.
Yeah, go ahead.
li ma laajte ndax ñii sax war nañoo am constituency fund boobu noonu because xaalisi nit ñi la and soo leen ko joxee people dañoo fonda ñu bari dañ believe ne député bi moom moo ko indi so ñu bari ñu ngi ko use as a political tool against seen opponents yi ndax ñooñu war nañu la jox xaalis boobu noonu sax in the first case.
Go ahead, Honourable Touray.
Yes, thank you very much. That's a very important question. First of all, I want to clarify that the CDF money, finance fund, is not given to an MP. It is just the MP to identify the project. That's all that the MP does. And the MP will also monitor the project to ensure that it is gone to where he has identified and then it is done. That is the role of the MP. No money is given to an MP to carry out any project. It is the, now the National Assembly does have a service scheme. The National Assembly service is the one that actually do the implementation of the project. And they are civil servants. And they are also being monitored by the National Assembly members. And they also have auditors and all that will ensure that the audit can ensure that everything goes smooth. Now, whether the National Assembly should have CDF, well, it's a practice that we have seen in Ghana, in Nigeria, in other places. I'm not sure whether it's Bakari who is asking just that. But the experience we have learned from Ghana and from Nigeria, it's not small money. It's a lot of money that goes into the constituency. Well, there are many things that are very important to the constituency that the central government cannot solve. For example, these small hamlets that I'm talking about, you go to a village which is just 5 compounds, 6 compounds, 6 independents. They could not get pipe-borne water. They were drinking this well water, which is muddy, which is dusty, and they are using, donkeys and using their own hand to pull a pulley. Sometimes they use horses even in the dry season, during this very hot season, they'll be using, and sometimes they'll be using children, which is very dangerous. These children are, working with these very large animals and drawing water from the well. And so there are numerous accidents that used to occur. Now, the government has never done anything for those small hamlets, because they say they are small. It is the MP who will identify this place and know that definitely these people are also Gambians. They should feel inclusive. Inclusivity should be noticed here to ensure that they also get what they want. A small thing like a borehole, which is just going to cost 500,000, but they could not get it from the area council. They could not get it from the central government. But an MP will identify that thing, and then it will go there. And those people will see themselves as part of Gambia, and they will take themselves seriously. And they are paying tax, whether they know it or not, or whether anybody knows it or not. They are paying tax every day. Because Gambia is a tax economy. So when you go to a shop, you buy meat, they are paying tax. Indirect tax. When you buy anything at the Lumo, you are paying indirect tax. When you buy in the market, you are paying indirect tax. You pay ferry, that's direct tax. You pay ferry, or you pay licenses or whatever. So they are paying tax. But they are not benefiting from the state. So only the MP who is from that area, who is being confronted by them on every month, that we need this thing, we need this thing. That's why I am putting my own funds there. Let me tell you, what I have put in my constituency from 2022 to date is going close to $5 million. I've built numerous boreholes. I've gone into so many small projects, rehabilitation of boreholes, etc., contribute to building of little stadia in some places. The youth are in football. They are always acting football on a continuous basis. Provide, football gears to them, which is in football and other gears, etc., uniform, how do you call it, jerseys, on a continuous basis. So, women, they will go into farming, they will ask for fertilizer. Some are building gardens. You go into that. I use my own gratuity to buy a tractor and buy all the accessories. And then it's with the constituency now, they are using it to plow their fields, to ensure that they sow their fields, to ensure that during the dry season, the tractor will be used to go to the Lumo and come back and bring better for some people, and they are paying, and they maximize the paying, repair the tractor, so that prepare for the rain season. When the rain comes, they'll be flying for the women at a lesser cost, even less than what the government is charging them. So, but if the MP has this CDF, he can identify these problems to the government, and the government will go and do that. For me, I don't see any problem with that. Because what we have to obtain is that MPs were in Diaspora government in the initial phase, they were made to become, ministers and senior ministers, and therefore they can identify projects for their constituency. But that system has changed. Now you have MPs on their side, and then you have the cabinet on their side. They are not mixed. So which means whatever is done in the country, the cabinet minister will go and stand there and say, it is President Barrow who did this. it's President Barrow who did this. So the MPs are not doing anything. But it is not true. It is the MPs that are approving whatever President Barrow is able to do. He cannot do that without the MPs. So, but they will not say it is the MPs, they will say it is President Barrow. So if you belong to a political party, which is an opposition, and nothing is being done in your name, nothing is being ascribed to your name, and that means that you are not doing anything. And when you go to the ordinary people, they will say it is President Barrow who is doing everything. Why should we change it? So I believe that the MPs, they need to be able to identify these projects, very crucial projects, very urgent projects to their members, to their parliament, so that the service will go and actually implement these projects. What I am opposed to is to give money to MP and say, go and do this. When that happens, there will be a lot of mismanagement, there will be a lot of embezzlement, and that will not go through. But when is it given to the service? And the service are civil servants, and they are being worked from every angle. I believe that these projects will benefit the people more than even the projects that the central government is taking. Because most of the projects that go to the people through the central government fail. All these road projects and these NEMA projects, they are failed. They keep on duplicating them. They keep failing. The people in those departments and ministries are so corrupt sometimes, to the extent that most of these projects are failing. But since this CDF comes, if you go to my constituency, you will see that women are beginning to have milling machines, they are beginning to have boreholes, and then the problem of this drudgery in work is steadily, progressively being reduced. So I think it is a good initiative, and I'm one of the people who really fought very hard to bring this CDF to Ghana, because I have seen the example in Ghana, and I see how best in Ghana they will allocate something like $1 million, but we are different. Ghana is a very rich country. But to answer your question, Mr. Bakari, we started with 300,000, and then from there we progressed to 500,000. We said we will do it piecemeal, because if we make it too big, mistakes can happen, and it can cause a lot of problems. And for the budgeting also, when the resources are not there, when the MPs take too much, it will cause a problem to the government. But we will do it progressively, stage by stage. We'll be increasing it little by little until it reaches to a certain stage where it can solve at least some basic things for our people that are on the ground. That's my answer on that one.
Honourable Suwaibou Touray, ñu ngi lay gërëm toogaay bi yàgg na. Honourable, su fekkee ne dafa am looy advice Gambian yi, ana lan moom ngay advice Gambian yi?
Thank you very much. Thanking all the listeners. I'm very grateful to people asking me questions. Let's understand that we have values as Africa. One of the values that we have is enhancing citizenship, socio-economic protection and security for our families. That is one thing that we should all stand for. And if we stand for that, we should ensure that there is a good government that will take care of our families. And when we are targeting families, we are targeting the old age. We should take action on the old age, plan for the old age. We need to review all those things. We need to define our family as an African. What is a family? If you go to Europe, they will tell you a family is, just a nuclear family. But in Africa, a family is wide. It's an extended family. So we need to define our families. You come to food security. Food and nutrition security is number one. Education, relevant and quality education is number two. These governments cannot give us quality education. They cannot give us relevant education. You take somebody to university, you bring the person who is an agriculturalist, he cannot do anything. You take somebody to university, he gets masters in engineering, you give him a simple car to bring down the engine and fix it and take it back. He cannot do it. But you have some people who are apprentices. They go to this apprentice school and learn, apprentice engineering in their own language. And by the time they are 18 years, 20 years, they can, overhaul a car, a vehicle, bring down the whole engine, fix everything, and it goes back. So we need that type of education in our schools to ensure that when people leave school, they are able to do the profession that they have studied in school. That is what is going to build our economy and build our society. Let's also remember that we have over 60.5 million children under 5 years suffering from stunting in Africa. Suffering from stunting, because of lack of good food. 70% of our farmers are busy in the farms for only 4 months in a year. Only 4 months in a year. For the 8 months in the year, they are sitting at Bantabas and doing nothing. How can a country prosper in that situation? So everything is in the hands of the Gambian people. We must take our country seriously. We must understand that without this durable change that we are talking about, this system change that we are talking about, change for the people will not come. DOI is a party of the workers. It's a workers' party. It is standing for the working people, people who are toiling, people who are sweating. DOI is standing for them. And therefore, those people should also understand that they must support that party that is supporting them. Otherwise, they will never get the change that will serve their purpose. So I thank everybody. I believe this type of conversation should continue. It should not stop here. Maybe the next time we come, it should be based on economics. The economics that will solve our problem. Because not every type of economy solves the poor person's problem. You know, all the problems that we have, you know, that's what we should. Also, we know that dependency is very high in the country. You people who are outside, you are outside, but all your money is going to people who are depending on you. Everything you get, people are telling you, we have Gente, we have, I don't know, Manota, we have this, we have that. When rain season comes, we don't have fertilizer, we don't have seeds. When it comes to every period of the year, people are asking you people one thing or the other, just like they are asking us here. So, no matter what you get, everything goes into the trade. You'll not be able to plan anything feasible. You'll not be able to plan anything for yourself. Everything is going to other people because of the dependency. So we need to now stand up. We who are educated. The use of education is to help other people to understand what you understand, so that they can stand by you, work with you to bring about the change that is necessary in the country, to bring about a system change that will serve the interest of. On that note, I thank you all for this very important program.
Honourable Suwaibou Touray, ñu ngi lay gërëm di la santa ci sa waxtu, di la gërëm bu baaxa baax di la santa ci lépp loo xam ne wax nga ko fii. Mu am loo xam ne Mr. Bakary Ba wax na ko fi jëmale ko ci yow ne sa constitution sa salary moom rek nga dee yóbbu. Anything extra yi nga dee am dang dee dem delloowaat ko ci constituency bi nga jógee, maanaam delloowaat ko ñin ñi. Te jot neen fi ne 2021 bi Adama Barrow indee moto yooyu bañ a wax ki nga xam ne moo ko may moto yi kan la, yow da nga bañoon ne doo jël moto yi ni te xamuloo moto yi fan la jógee. Loola nekk na loo xam ne wax dëgg exemple bu baax la pour si sun politiciens yi. Gambian yëpp war nañoo xam ne nag parti bu mel ni DOI fun jaare di leen gërëm. Te ba Gambia nekk su leen dem jamono Jawara, DOI ñoom ñoo jël toosho jiitu di niital Gambian yi ba Gambian yi di gis yoon. Ñu bari tey ñu ngi si nguur gi, ñu bari tey ñu ngi yëngu si different political party. Ñi njëkk a ubbi seen bët mooy parti bi ñu ooyee DOI. Te DOI dafa nekk parti boo xam ne lu bari leen si mun a jàngee tamit. It is all inclusive. Nite di nga si fekk tribe yëpp, moo tax DOI loo leen mun a wax doo mun a wax ne parti olof la wala parti soose la wala parti bambara la. Ndigte dafa nekk parti boo xam ne different tribes yëpp ñu ngi si. Te loolu nekk na a very good example boo xam ne tamit Gambian yi war neen see mun a jàngee. Am na loo xam ne tamit war neen koo bàyyi xel. Boo ñëwee ne nit ki sa njiit bi baaxut, wax ko ne ko njiit bi baaxut de, waaye xam naa njiit bu baax mu ngi nii. Loo génnee place remplacer loo xam ne li moo ko gën, ñit ñi dal di la tàccul. Ba ndóog ne leen bàyyi leen a xel. Ndite ñun Gambian yi dundee bugga kenn jiite. Waaw, Gambian bi moom bàyyi neccoo li ëpp doole si ñun noonu leen mel. Ku jiitu ñu sikkal la, gasal la pax, ut nin la xëccee daaneel la. Su dee ku jiitu ñu gasal la pax, bon kan moo ñuy jiite? Te su fekkee ne ñu ngi am njiit yoo xam ne ñu ñuy jiite ñu naan baaxun ñun den togo ne Jawara baaxut, Yaaya Jammeh génne ko fa. Ñu demaat ba si kanam ñu ne Yaaya Jammeh tam baaxut, ñu génne fa Yaaya Jammeh. Ñu demaat ba si kanam ñu ne Adama Barrow tamit baaxut. Waaw, kan mooy ki baax si ñun? Ba ndoog ñi nga xam ne ñoo jiite political parties yi, waxuma ne warul leen a wécci de, waaye neen leen bàyyi suñ xel. Ndite gis ngeen ba ñoo wax ne Yaaya Jammeh na génn rek dem, su eboo sax golo dal di nekk suñ président moo ñu gënal Yaaya Jammeh. gis ngeen Adama Barrow ngi ñëw léegi ñu ngay jooy ne Yaya Jammeh man da wax ne gollo sax ko gën léegi Yaya Jammeh moom bu ñëwoon sax moo gën Adama Barrow neen leen bàyyi suñ xel political parties yi nga xam ne moom leen fi am ñu leen jiite ñëpp dañ sonna pour taxawal parti yooya leen ba parti ba nekkutee dara kenn waxut comme li ko olof di waxee ñu ne lu sotti rek am borom waxul ne waru na change leaders from time to time political parties yi de waaye neen bàyyi xel su fekkee ne dañoo wécci ñi nga xam ne ñoo jiite political parties yi neen indi ñu gën wala ku gën kuuka waaye dem rek change génnee leader bi rek political leader bi ne waa kii yàgga na fi neen ko génne bon soo leen ko génnee kan ngeen a indi soo leen a indi bon neen indi ku gën kuuka waaye génnee ku baax teg fële dal di indi koo xam ne ki moo gën a woos kan génnee bon ñun jëmum kanam ñun dañoo slide backwards bon ñun dëgg am nañ problème nañ leen bàyyi xel si lii bañ ñu toog génnee leaders yoo xam ne génnee political leaders yoo xam ne tegee leen boor ñu dem 5 years 10 years down the line ñuy regret ne bu ñu yëgoon bàyyi leen fa te am na loo xam ne Gambien war nañ koo xalaat jiite political party easy wut de nekk kilifa si kër sa yombut te leena war nañ koo bàyyi xel mooy ne ñi jiite political party si ñu bari si ñoom nekkaatun fi ñi fi des tey ñu ngee mag xaw ma ne Gambien den de bàyyi loolu xel xooleen Halifa Sallah Honourable Halifa Sallah kawaram ngaa mu ngee weex Honourable Ousainou Darboe kawaram ngaa ngee weex Mama Kandeh mi ñëw barki démba sax boo leen xoolee Mama Kandeh tey ak Mama Kandeh ban xamoon 2016 big difference am na boo leen xoolee nguuri Adama Barrow gi sax nan meloon boo leen xoolee tey ñu ngee mag so lii war nañoo tiital ne the population is running old ba nga xam ne war nañ leen a ormal lu ñoo def nañ ko def si njekkin mag dafay toog gis fu sori xaleel taxaw du ko gis ne leen bàyyi li xel ba nga xam ne su wécceeku di am nañ ko defee si njekkin defee ko si respect nga xam ne ki nga xam ne ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo sonoon pour tabax parti bi démba nga xam ne ëllëg duñ mere parti bi dal di bàyyi Gambian politics tegee leen boor di disappointment buñ am ndigte li nga xam ne moo ñu dal si Père Sarr Ndiaye waruñoo dalaat si benn political leader in Gambia political leader boo xam ne da ngaa resign wala da ngaa step down wala nga step aside ak bu mun a doon ne ko def si njëkkin ba nga xam ne dañoo relevant nga xam ne although step neen aside waaye si parti bi leen bokka di jox parti bi advice di leen xelal su ko defee suñ politics mun a nekk politics gu àndaa respect bi ko lu ñu def tey rek ñu ngi set exemple pour génération bi nga xam ne mooy ñëw buñ fàtte ne Sénégal gis ngeen Ablaye Wade mag la dafa dem ba mag ba doon maam yi ñi nga xam ne sax ñooy liggéey si nguur gi wala sa amaat na mu doon seen maamaati maam waaye still ñëwoon na Sénégal votal ko nekkoon na fa président te ba mu fa nekkee def na fa ay liggéey lu rafet dëgg la buur moom moo mel noonu di nga def ay erreur waaye di nga def lu baax tamit président loo bon am na lu baax loo def am na lu bon loo def loo baax tamit am na lu bon loo def am na lu baax loo def waaye nañ leen bàyyi li nii xel ba ndóog ñu ngi gërëm doy si lépp loo xam ne def nañ ko in Gambian politics mun ngaa génnee doy from Gambian politics waaye doo génnee politics from doy mun ngaa génnee Honourable Halifa Sallah from Gambian politics waaye doo mun a génnee Gambian politics from Halifa Sallah nañ leen bàyyi loolu xel bu baax a baax soo ñu ngi gërëm tamit panélistes yi Mr Bakary Ba ñu ngi lay gërëm di gërëm tamit sun chairman Baboucarr Mbodj Jibril Fadiya yow itam ñu ngi lay gërëm ñu ngi gërëm tamit Fodé Sissawo di gërëm Ablaye Sanyang bon mbokk yi fii la waxtaan di dal di am fi mu ne du ma def lu dul dal di ëmba lépp loo xam ne waxtaanee neen ko fii lépp loo xam ne Honourable Suwaibou Touray waxtaanee na ko fii dal di leen ko jébal dal di bàyyi waxtaan ji mu dal di continuer si seeni xel yéen Gambian yi yéen yéenay àttekat yi nga xam ne yéenay àtte lépp loo xam ne dégg ngeen ko fii di leen gërëm te di leen santa te mbépp koo xam ne da nga jóg pour suuxal Gambia yal na la buur yàlla nasaxal salaamualeykum wa rahmatullah wa barakaatu waaxiru daawaana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin